Hey there, folks. We're going to begin starting in just a few minutes. If you're here for the live virtual art tour, we will be starting in about 1 to 2 minutes. We just want to give a lot of people a chance to sign in because we have people sign in from all over the world. So 1 or 2 more minutes and we will get started with the tour. All right. So just be patient, folks. Folks, will be starting in about 1 minute. Got people from all over signing in, so we like to make sure everyone's got time to get in. 1 more minute, we're going to go visit our first artist. Welcome everyone. My name is Kevin Flint. I'm going to be your guide today. You are on the live virtual Brewery Artwalk tour. We've been doing the art walk here at the Brewery Art Colony for decades now, over 3 decades, but of course this year had to be a little bit different. So we decided to adapt and roll with it, and we've come up with our live virtual art tours in conjunction with LA Art Tours. So LA Art Tours and the Brewery Artwalk Association teamed up to make this happen. See, it's a lovely blue sky behind me, which actually hides the fact that if I face the other way right now, it's completely cloudy and looks like it's about to rain. But the lovely blue sky behind me, I thought we'd get that as a first shot. The Brewery Art Colony, it's not a brewery, it's an art colony. In the grounds of an old brewery, about 550 artists live and work here. And that isn't a misprint, that's not me saying it wrong, it is 550 artists live and work here. It's spread over about 17 acres. About 22, well, it depends on how you count the buildings, 20 to 23 buildings here. It's a big place, huge place, the world's largest art colony. Today, we're going to, of course, take you around to see a lot of these artists. We're going to walk into these buildings, meet the artist. Occasionally, we might lose video, we might lose audio for a minute because we're walking these giant concrete blocks like you see around me right now, and cell phone signal is terrible, so I got to run to each place and click on the Wi-Fi and try to grab their Wi-Fi signal. Occasionally, things will cut out during those periods, but I guarantee you they will be brief, and we will have signal back as soon as possible. So I'm going to get us started here. We're going to go in this first building. Let's spin around the camera here. There's Get me so you're not watching me anymore. There we go. This is our first entrance. Let's get started. We're going to go meet our first artist, Joshua. Like I said, we'll try to keep Wi-Fi as much as possible, but there will be times we'll lose it. All right, let's get going, folks. All right, sorry if we lost you there for a minute. Like I said, giant concrete block. But we are back live on a Wi-Fi connection. We're visiting our first artist here, Joshua Elias. Let's go in and meet Joshua. How's it going, Joshua?
It's going great.
All right.
Thank you all for visiting all of our studios virtually. I appreciate it. And thanks, Kevin, for doing this and the Brewery Artwalk. So a lot of gratitude there. Welcome to my studio. This is where I've worked since 1999. And these are some new works that I put up specifically for this. This is one that's almost finished, actually, not quite, and a bit influenced by this movie. My octopus teacher, I think it's called, or Octopus My Teacher, or something like that. It's right, a great documentary. Working a lot in very subtle, subdued colors as well, even though they're very bright. This painting, I don't know if you can get the nuance to it, but there's a lot of very subtle yellows, and it's called The Ghost of Spamoni. And it's one probably to see in person, but I'm glad that you're here to be able to do this. Also, this painting right here, these were all done in the pandemic. This is called Candy. And it's about, like the other ones I've been doing a lot, there's a lot of sweetness to it and a lot of depth and kind of all that comes with sweetness and getting down to a certain kind of spiritual calmness, a way to kind of raise yourself up. So this is called Calm Before the Calm. And these are oil. I work with walnut oil as my medium. And I've only painted with oil for, well, since 1986 or 87. So pretty much all I've been painting with. So I'm very familiar with them. And a lot of my work is very, has a lot of movement, a lot of flow to it, and is often kind of undulating and coming back. And a lot of times it's like a story that you return to. I'm under the opinion, I'm under the opinion that that artists do one painting their whole life, and all of these are different parts of one painting, one large painting. So it's a way I look at it, and there's a selection process involved in what we create. So If you want to look at my work further or connect with me, Instagram, Joshua Elias 57 is the way to do that. And I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or anything you would like to say.
Yeah, folks, if you have any questions, you can go in the chat function there. You can type in and I can read them off to Joshua. So feel free to interact. These are live tours. You're not watching a pre-recording. So
I'm live.
Yeah, so you can ask me a question and I will pass it right along to Joshua. Josh, you want to show us I always love your table over here. You want to show us a look?
Oh, sure. All right. This is my work table, one of them. You can go in here. Lately, I'm working in these subtle tones and things like this. This is a palette here for one of my works, my new works. Obviously, there's very minty colors and pinks and kind of purples and light blues. This represents to me a lot of air. This is kind of a softness. This is kind of a calmness. And so I kind of I mix these together in a way that I hope is works as a painting.
We have a couple of comments coming in. Oh, they're all just saying, there are no questions. They're just saying how beautiful. Oh, what type of colors do you use or do you prefer?
Well, I just talked a little bit about that. I use all from the primary colors. Yellow is big for me, but often at the end I wind up with blues and greens. I don't know. There's different colors I like.
Someone also just said the studio feels like a home. You want to explain what it is, Joshua? Why does it feel like a home?
Well, it is a home. I spend a lot of time here. I paint here every day. I live upstairs here. I've lived here on and off over the period since I've had it in 1999. For about 10 years, I was living elsewhere. The last 5 years, I'm living here again. So that's why there's a table set up, and there's some functional home things going on, kitchen and bedroom and all that going on.
Yeah. So everyone, these are not just studios; these are living spaces as well for these artists.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some more questions going.
Sure.
Someone wants to know the prices. What price range are you in?
My price range of my art goes anywhere from, I would say, 5,000 to 20,000.
So that's the range, 5,000 to 20,000.
There's actually some smaller works that are about 2,500 to 2,000 to 2,500.
One of my favorite questions: isn't it toxic to live where you're painting?
Well, I'm 24 years old. How do I look?
You look great for 24. So you're doing fine.
I feel great. No. Yes, it is. And at times, non-COVID times, I take steams all the time. I'm constantly cleansing myself. I eat organic foods. I exercise.
So you compensate for the toxic environment by trying to make the rest of your life
exactly.
untoxic.
I box when it's not this COVID time. So you sweat it out. But yes, and I'm very conscious of that. I have air cleaners and drink a lot of water. And
what size range do you usually like of your paintings?
Okay, so this painting here, I'm doing 3 of these at 57 inches high by 55 wide. Typically, I like the number 9. So this is 63 equals 9 by 54.
Got it.
The reason I like number 9 is just probably some crazy superstition, but 9 times 2 is 18, 8 plus 1 equals 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 2 plus 7 equals 9. It's kind of self-contained. And I like the idea of a painting as a container of information.
Awesome. Well, Joshua, thank you for letting us stop into your home and studio today. Thanks for letting us see where you work. I'm going to walk backwards and not hit your wet painting.
Right, exactly.
Because then you'll have Kevin's butt print on your painting, and
we do not allow butt prints.
Yeah, that would actually probably boost the value, I'm going to say. My butt is valuable. All right. I'll talk to you later, Joshua. Good having you.
Thank you all.
All right. One last look here so you guys can make sure you got his name. It's Joshua Elias. If you're looking for their websites and their Instagrams, all that information is on our website, the Brewery Art Association website. Make sure you head over there in case you forget an artist's name, all these sort of things. We did provide all that information for you. We'll try to post it up during the tour as well. All right, so I'm going to switch Wi-Fi, so you guys bear with me for a second. Well, I switch. We're walking all of 5 feet. This is the closest walk I have to do today. Is I'm walking basically across the hall.
How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing good. Tired. 4 of these tours.
Well, the long walk from
3 hours
Place,
each.
as you mentioned, right?
I'm not used to 12 hours of walking. All right, let's hear it, Bruce.
So, welcome to my studio. Actually, my wife and I live here. Susan lives here, and we both work here. Um, come on in. So, our sleeping space is upstairs here. There's actually another bedroom in the back for when people visit us.
Sarah says hello. Sarah Munchin.
Oh, tell her hi. Hi, Sarah. I can tell her hi. I want to say welcome to the brewery to everybody that's watching, and thank you so much for participating in the art walk today. By the way, after you left the last time and yesterday as well, I had sales on my Etsy shop. So
All right.
So thank you, Brewery Artwalk, for having this art walk.
And you guys
today.
heard that. Head over to the Etsy shop and give us a starving artists, especially during coronavirus time, a little love. We can't be doing our gallery shows we're used to right now, so we have to find creative ways.
And thank you, LA Art Tours, by the way.
We're
we
doing
always
our best.
appreciate when you bring people by here, which is great. Come on over here for a second.
All right.
I'm going to start with the Etsy shop with some of the prints. I began my career as an illustrator 45 years ago. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got out of art school, and illustration seemed like a possibility since I had studied drawing in art school. I'm primarily a painter, but I do drawings. They're kind of relaxing for me, actually. I know what's going to happen by the end of the day, usually. They're not as daunting as doing a painting. I tell people that I assign myself things. It's actually Susan who gives me assignments, and she does it really good-naturedly, so it's not a problem ever. One year she assigned birds. In fact, the sales that I made were all bird prints, so I'm going to show you some of them. There's quite a few. I also have author prints. That was another year's assignment.
It's funny. I recognize a lot of these artists when you flip before. I'm like, wait, I actually know what authors look like. It was
Yes.
kind of surprised me that
There's actually over 60 of them, and I'm not done yet. But
like I
many
knew
of them,
Mark Twain, obviously.
Yes, that was done as a commission for one of our brewery artists here at one time.
Kurt Vonnegut, recognize him.
I did Virginia Woolf's sister by accident the first time I drew her. So that's a really valuable print, I would think, right? If you get it wrong, like when you get a coin wrong. Yeah. There's quite a few. You'll have to come and see them at some point. Some of the originals are still available. I do want to show a project that I'm doing with my son Tyler, who is a writer and an English professor. He loves mythology. Earlier I was saying medieval prints, but they're mythological prints. This is our bestiary. He writes these stories about these these mythological creatures, these from different countries, actually, different parts of the world. The Baku is Japanese. Originally, it was from a Chinese legend about a creature that ate your dreams, but now it's become a friendly creature. It devours the nightmares of children. So Japanese people will have this hanging in the rooms of their children when they're growing up. There's quite a few. We're hoping this will be a book at some point. I mentioned the drunk cactus cat, which is dangerous because it drinks fermented cactus juice. Anyway, there's quite a few of those as well. Primarily, after I was an illustrator, I became a painter. I started off by doing abstract paintings, and I did that for 40 years without doing anything that was realistic, except for sometimes drawing. I went to Rome about 4 years ago to visit my daughter who had moved there. My wife and I went together. When I came back, my work had completely changed. I was suddenly doing figurative work. I'm going to give you an example of the first one. It's over here. So there were actually 3 different paintings that I did that had figures that were robed like this, very much like you might find in a cathedral or a museum in Europe, something maybe from the Renaissance. And it was really troubling in a way because I didn't know why I was doing them. I also knew that many people had done them very, very well, but I was really compelled to do them. So this is called anamnesis. Those 3 figurative paintings led to me doing interiors. So I'm still doing abstractions, but I'm also doing empty interiors, including staircases. In some ways, I think the abstracts and the empty interiors are very similar in that they're sort of about empty spaces. I think there's a great deal of mystery to silence and empty spaces. And I hope that people that view them or people that own them are compelled to think about what might have gone on there, or what happens when there isn't silence, or maybe they fill them with their own ideas and stuff. The newest ones, the newest interiors, the staircases, I've started to include some of the abstract elements that I have in my abstract paintings. And I'll show you a larger one over here.
Oh, we're going to stop at Susan's table though and take a look at that.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So the most popular thing in my studio for Artwalk is, one is the elephant that's hanging over here above this cabinet, but mostly it's Susan's art table. I tell people, look at my paintings, and they're sitting here taking pictures of.
That's quite the
work.
table.
It's really great. It's really a creative moment. It's wonderful.
Oh, here's the elephant, so people can see the elephant.
People say, "Where is it from?" And I tell them it's from a faraway place called Larchmont. There's an antique store in Larchmont. It comes from Thailand originally. So here's another abstraction and 2 more staircase paintings. This one was done recently. Another sample of the abstract paintings or the realistic paintings that have abstract elements in them. I seem to be combining those a lot, and it's working for me. So one more thing. I think of the newest paintings as being the first realistic work that I've done. But in fact, for a long time now, I've been doing these nocturnes. And these are all actually digital paintings. They're places that don't really exist. But I use real textures to make them look real. There's real grass and real tile, real concrete. That staircase, the texture on that cement is actually from the little building across the catwalk up on top of the brewery. So some of the pictures I take are from here as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bruce, for letting us stop into your home.
Thank you for coming.
See your life. I'm going to do one last pan out so everyone can see this place here. And this, as I said, these are these people's homes. This isn't just an artist studio. This is their home. But it looks like this nice, cozy home. But then you look up, there's these giant cement beams. I mean, we are literally inside a concrete box right now. This isn't like, like people sometimes, it's hard for them to conceptualize. So Bruce, Susan, they took this concrete box and turned into this lovely home here. You're going to get to see how all these different artists interpret their concrete box and turn it into something amazing, or in some cases, sheet metal box. But we all take our little boxes and we turn them what we can. All right. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for letting us in.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to do another Wi-Fi bounce here, folks. I'm going to zoom in again on Bruce's sign here so you can get his name again, Bruce Dean. And now I'm going to switch our Wi-Fi yet again to the next one. Yes.
Hi, welcome to the Jesus Wall studio, and it's my husband's studio. His name is Kevin Brake. He is a photographer, and he specializes in taking pictures of the LA River and the bridges and people. So he's going to talk more about these pictures because it's kind of connected to what I'm kind of doing with books. So go ahead, say, like there's more pictures down here. If you want.
All right, I really like shooting the bridges because they're a couple blocks from the house from here. And I like going at night, and I like going during bad weather. So we have night and fog and rain and storming. It's at the other end. So these are all shot on Sony or Canon. And I often sell prints during Artwalk. So if you're interested, let me know. This one was in 2010, the 6th Street Bridge, which is demolished and being replaced. This is looking east towards downtown. Can't see it for the rain.
Speak up a little bit towards the mic,
Look
too.
at all the water coming out of the gutter. And the water here is about 8 feet deep, doing about 40 miles an hour. Down here is in 2008. You can actually see my shadow, my wife's shadow on a tripod. It was the old 6th Street Bridge in downtown. And a homeless guy who lived in there, I hope moved out before the rain got too deep. Up above is downtown and the also vanished Riverside Drive Bridge. I was project photographer on its replacement and also on 1st Street Bridge. There's Broadway after a storm, and over there is a girl with a road flare at night on 6th Street on Factory Place. So let's go into the photo studio. We actually have a shoot going on right now. A couple more prints. And around the corner for the big reveal. Voila. So there are 4 or 5 bays to shoot in here. They're currently at the Jesus Wall, waiting for us to finish patiently. Over here is the Star Wall and the ever popular, perennially popular bathtubs. We also have one in the bathroom. Sometimes people rent the studio just for the bathtub. Around to the right is a big spacious cove for shooting catalog or Amazon. I actually have an Amazon client here in the brewery. So 16 feet by 40 feet deep by 15 feet high. And Anna, are you here? Anna? And over here in the corner is where Anna made a sound booth during the quarantine, where she's narrated a book for Audible that she's going to tell you about.
So this is the sound booth I built. I like to build things, and it's actually very easy to do for anyone who has a studio. You just get the MDF wood, and you build it with a double wall, and you put insulation on it that's soundproof. I didn't do a good job on the ceiling. I'm going to work on that. The microphones I recommend is the Neumann TLM 103 or the Neumann U87 mic. Those are really good microphones for narration, even for like music. So if you have like musicians come over, you build a bigger sound booth, and then they can make noise, I guess. So like I got that idea to build a sound booth because Kevin has been publishing books. Like this is one of the books that he published.
Arcadia.
Arcadia. You can find it on Amazon. But I did more research, and during the pandemic, I got into publishing books because I always helped Kevin do that. And so like I used basically his pictures to put cover for books, and either like his bridge pictures or like other pictures that he took of me or of, like mother.
Tell me about the book you narrated.
And the book I narrated is Dracula by Bram Stoker. It's gonna be on Audible soon. So I got that idea from his books that he published. This is like another book that I kind of like helped with.
I made over 70 books so far.
It was
Question came up, why bridges? What do you love about bridges?
I don't know. There was one out my window when I lived at the winery lofts, and I wanted to find out about it. And I actually literally went to a library to get books on it, and there were no books. So I ended up writing the book. If you want to know about these bridges, this is all the information that's fit to print. These are construction books for the contractor and for the city to keep. They actually use them after the fact. This is 1st Street, which was about, I don't know, 10 years ago. Riverside Drive just finished, and there's a series of books for Riverside Drive. And I guess my big claim to fame is that the contractor sued the city, and using these pictures, they collected $6 million settlement.
Did they give you any of that?
I got a couple thousand for collating the pictures and organizing them by date. There was 150,000 of them. So most are shot on Sony, but I'm happy to be back on Canon with the R5 and all those lenses I've been waiting to use again.
So,
All right.
like we're getting involved into like publishing, and I love producing, and yeah, like we want to publish more books, whether if they're audio books or like published books, and anybody can do it these days. Like you don't have to work for somebody else. You can just basically publish your own stuff.
Blurb.com Blur.com is great. I did most of these books on Blur.
Someone wants to know, do you develop any of your own photos?
Everything's digital. I do use Photoshop and Affinity and Lightroom.
But he used to have a dark room.
I used to shoot film, yes. Digital, so much cheaper after you pay for the computer and the camera.
That is true.
The instant gratification, which works for everyone.
I tried doing development recently in a dark room, and I forgot how much I hated it until I was in the dark room. I'm like, that smell, it's just.
I miss printing. I miss having a dark room.
See, I started to have like a attack in there. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I hate the smell.
Maybe if I had a dark room again, I would also not use it for extended periods. But I do enjoy it when someone needs a print. I'm like, let's do it right now.
And the sound booth is kind of like a dark room because when you get in there, it's like completely dark.
Someone asked what camera are you using right now?
To be honest, I shot these. There's 60 of these books, and they're all shot with the Sony Pocket camera.
Sony Pocket camera, okay.
And when I need a longer lens, I use an RX10 that goes up to 600 millimeters. But this is phenomenal quality, unreal quality. When I first saw it, I'm like, no, I can't use that for a book. And I looked at some pictures. Oh my goodness, is it good? But whenever the client's around or the LA City's around, I tried out the bigger cameras and bigger lenses so it looks more professional.
Like Canon.
Oh, the white lenses. Oh yeah, they love the white lenses.
No, but like he has a Canon 5D.
Now I have an R5.
An R5.
I'll be shooting with that in just a few
All right.
days.
We got to head out. Did you want to show that wall at all? Or
Let's have a quick look at Jesus.
We have just a moment left.
All right. So here you can see 483 pictures of Jesus. There's blonde Jesus, blue-eyed Jesus, black Jesus, baby Jesus, old Jesus, dying Jesus, resurrected Jesus. We've got them all. Step on down to Kevin's house at Jesus.
All right.
Seriously, we've had that wall for 30 years, and it's a lot of work, and we have to update it every year.
Awesome. All right. We got to head on out. I'm going to also just glance at this wall on my way out because this is a beautiful wall as well. All right. Thank you guys for letting us stop into your studio and your house and your life.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming to Artwalk and to the Jesus wall.
Who's next? Doris. Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right, folks. We're going to do a Wi-Fi jump again. We'll see what happens. This is a long walk, so we might lose you for a minute, but I'll reconnect right back in. There we go. We are now connecting.
I'm going to direct us a little bit.
Perfect.
I'm getting feedback. I'm going to start with content. And we won't bother lighting it. Welcome to my studio. It's mostly my work, but I'm also sharing the space with other Arab American artists. And we're going to start over here. You can get content, content, contentious. This is a piece by myself and Nada Shalabi, whose origin is Egyptian. And I'm Lebanese, part Palestinian. And we're interested, the artists here who are showing, the Arab American women artists, are really interested in the gaps, the fissures, the chasms within language, where you see one thing and then it turns into something else, and within our society, where Arab Americans have been largely invisible. So Joyce's work, Joyce DeLava's family is from Iraq, and she's actually Jewish. So in her case, she started to hear the stories of Palestinians and felt that it really paralleled her family's journey to this country, to Israel and to this country, because they decided not to go to Israel because they couldn't be Arab. So there was this chasm between being Arab and Jewish. is something she's still working on. So in this piece, we have the partition treaties of 1948 that caused the chasm, and their landscapes are called textscapes. And you can zoom in on the text if you like, and you can get little pieces of history there. And these are unique pieces. The next few pieces you're going to see, they're photo-based, but then she goes over them by hand with pastel and charcoal. And these are other pieces of Joyce's. These have to do with resolutions, peace treaties, and you might want to zero in on one of these. This is the Pledge of Allegiance in Judeo-Arabic, and it's a language that Baghdadi Jews spoke, and it's the Pledge of Allegiance. And her aunt translated it into Judeo-Arabic. Here's another piece, very similar. And so it's, text trying to be visual and trying to express something more than just words, but express our experience as Arab American women. This is my piece here. It's printed on plexiglass, frosted plexiglass, and vinyl behind. Also a little bit hand cut, believe it or not. The piece back here is hand cut. It's easy material to cut. And this is the Mashrabiyya pattern. So the Mashrabiyya was a place where water was kept and air would flow through, but it also had another meaning, which is not really the meaning, but it's the fantasy of the West as a place where, some orgy is taking place, some harem orgy is taking place behind. So in this piece, which is called Disorient, you look through the Mashrabiyya and all you see is another Mashrabiyya, and past that you see the shadow of the Mashrabiyya. So it's like that's all you're getting, because that's all there really is. And it was a functional piece of architecture. This is Lee wax stuff, and then we can go to this Mashrabiyya piece, which is hand-cut paper. All the work on the paper on this wall is hand-cut. I'd like to do it machine-wise, but it almost was as much work. So this piece, you have the depiction on top, and then it gets to be less depiction of the Mashrabiyya and more cut work. And then I really found that it was just becoming a performance piece. And, so that's the other function it does, the other thing it does. And then these patterns here on this wall, most of them come from China. So I begin with Arab or Islamic patterns and trace back their history and see if they could tell a story, because most of those patterns come from somewhere else, and what the Arabs were really fantastic at was fusing them into new patterns that look very fresh and new. So this one started in China. It went to India, put a little twist on it. It went to Damascus, as is, with a little twist, and it stayed there until I found it and brought it to California and started to work on it and research it. A kind of a project that started in 2008, so it's a very long, that's the same pattern up there, and I'm curious about dissecting it and seeing if it could be dissected into simpler forms, which is what this pattern is.
Someone commented how the light shines through and puts a whole different piece behind it with the shadows.
Absolutely, and as you move, the piece changes. So from every different perspective, it's different.
Someone asked, do you ever incorporate Arabic letters in your work?
I do, and it's a project I'm going to go into that is more performance-based. And I actually have one Arabic letter right here, made out of security envelope patterns. This one here. It's the Aleph, it's the first letter of the Arabic alphabet, and it's going to have a lam, which looks like our L, just done in the other way. So al means the, la means no. And so I'm going to explore those as gongs. These are paper gongs. I brought a little one so you can see. I'm also a sonic artist. I'm interested in how patterns of all kinds, even the micro patterns on envelopes, can create sound. And then you can performative pieces.
I'll show a close-up here so people see. What she's using here are those little windows and envelopes. like security envelopes you get in the mail. She cuts out those little windows, those little plastic windows, and recycles them into her art.
This is my largest drawing thus far. I'm working on one that is bigger. And it makes a really wonderful sound. And I collected these to make maps, and then I didn't throw the windows out. And then about 3 years ago, I decided to use the windows, and I made these wonderful sounds. So again, micro patterns, macro patterns, layering of patterns, seeing if they tell some sort of story, and then perhaps becoming performance. So, oh, and we got the jewelry. Thank you. And Robin Brailsford is a public artist who has done work in Los Angeles and all over the country, but she also makes jewelry. If you want to focus in on these rings that are really comfortable, I cook with them, I'm on the typewriter with them, and they're kind of my friends. And then these neck pieces or neckties, or are also really comfortable to wear, and they have a retro feel to them. A lot of the materials, like what I have on, this is from mid-century. The little leaves and the glass pieces, and so she makes these wonderful sort of wearable sculpture.
And someone asked again about the links. You guys, the links to all these are up on our website. Do you have all your artists up on the brewery website?
No, I should get back to that.
Yeah.
I have it on an email I sent out to people because they all have their individual websites, of course.
Yeah.
I'll get that to
Go
you.
to the Brewery Art Association website. Most of these artists, you will be able to get links to them. They'll have Instagrams and websites and all that stuff.
Perfect.
I'm going to back away here real quick so we can walk through the whole studio, get the big expansive view. See how big it is here?
Yeah, 700 square feet. We're just shy.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for letting us see your place.
Have a good rest after all of this. Bye-bye. Thank you.
See the kitchen here. Like I said, these are living spaces, not just static studios. I know. Look at that retro stove. Okay.
You're heading upstairs to Melissa. Thanks, Doris.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, guys, we're going to let me zoom in on her name real quick so you guys get one last view here. Doris. Okay. I'm going to switch Wi-Fi yet again, and hopefully we don't lose you all during that transition. Give me 1 sec.
Switching to your Wi-Fi. We'll be right with you.
What's yours again? Oh, cool.
I do painting, illustration, animation, some installation. So welcome to my studio. So this is my little lobby area. It's actually where I have my art collection, so non-me stuff. This is the kitchen. So this would be the front half would be the living space. Kitchen. The bedroom loft that I use mostly. This one up here. And then the dining room.
Oops, hold on a minute. We lost your Wi-Fi again.
Oh.
All right, everyone, hold on 1 sec. Let me see if I can get the Wi-Fi to reconnect. I decided I didn't want to be connected.
I can always reboot it too.
Give me 1 sec, folks. All right, you guys seeing things again? People chime in on the chat if you can see it. I rebooted, or not yet. All right, give it a moment here. We're on a black screen.
Oh no, do you want me to?
There, it appears. It looks like it came back on.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay,
Woo.
we're back. Yay.
All right, circle back around and let's start again.
Okay.
No, I think we're good now.
Okay, cool. So this is the kitchen, living area. Up in the front here today, I hung my work, the most recent body of work, or what I've been doing in the last year or so. I've been here a little bit over a year at the brewery. So all of this stuff can be seen on the website. It's melissadiane.com.
Now we're frozen.
Oh no, really?
We're having some problems here now.
Yeah, I wonder why. Should I reboot the?
Give me some. Sorry, folks. This Wi-Fi jumping, like I said, we have to signal jump from each new Wi-Fi, and sometimes things just don't connect well. I'm going to try one more time to connect. Yeah, it's not liking your Wi-Fi today.
I can read.
That would take so long, though. It'd be worse, probably.
Yeah.
All right, you guys see a picture now? Yes. We got a couple of emphatic yeses. You can see us waving. We're moving. It's not frozen. Well, some people are saying it's still seeing frozen. Wow. Oh, what's going on? All right, guys, I'm just going to hold still. It's jumpy. Now someone says it's moving, but jumpy. All right. Slow motion. All right. We're going to get started. I'm just going to sit at a piece of art then.
Okay.
And hopefully you guys will get a nice view. You want to start this side?
Yeah, we'll start on this side.
I'm just going to get frozen at a piece of art, and she can then talk about it. And let's see. So sound is great, just the motion. All right, I'm going to stand perfectly still. Now you won't be able to tell if it's frozen or not.
Right, perfect. So this one is, this piece is longing. The reason I wanted to stop on it is because it shows a lot of what I do formally with my work, thematically and formally. So, of course, I have all the lovers in the garden, so that's the theme there. And then what I do is I work primarily in acrylic, but also mixed media. So these pieces here, they're foam core attached with Velcro to the canvas, and also painted on the side, so they that has like neon pink and yellow and things like that, so that it will cast shadows. Primarily the reason I do that is because I will take this large painting at some point and animate pieces of it. So I'll do this kind of glitchy moving art where the butterflies will either go in and out of the flowers or something along those lines, but it will still read as a painting, not as your like typical 2D animation type thing. So it reads as a moving painting. So again, that's how I primarily work, just formally on the canvases, why it has those different kinds of elements and textures. And you can see there's a little writing in there and such.
Yeah, we can go to the next one.
Okay, great. Again, thematically, this wall is...
Oh, someone was asking about the butterflies, how they move.
So what I do is I stop motion animate them. So I'll move them in different locations and take a series of photographs. And then I'll put it into either Photoshop or After Effects, and I'll start digitizing and filling in the gaps. So when I'm done with that, it seems like an extra step, but it actually looks more like a 3D diorama type thing rather than a complete digital creation, which is why I do it that way. I have some things like that on my YouTube channel, which also connects through my website, which is good. Again, this is Winners and Sinners. So this is the group down here, the sinners, the partiers, in this beautiful pastoral landscape. As I was saying earlier today, a lot of times I put kind of edgy themes in these real kind of mind-numbing, beautiful environments, so you kind of feel like you've gone to a party and you're supposed to see this beautiful, beautiful stuff. And instead there's sometimes subversive themes going on. And that's a lot of the reason I also use really bright colors. So I kind of numb you a little bit before I give you that message. Again, lots of texture. So here is a different, like a pumice texture. The foam core is there. I wouldn't really move that one. I just like the 3D elements. Real quick, I didn't do these earlier, but these are also kind of thematically part of what I do. This I just have sitting here. It's actually a set, and sometimes I make small figurines. and I line them up into these little dioramas, and then I paint from those, so I get a sense of the lighting. I have it up now because I just like it decoratively, but it's actually a tool that I use for my paintings and animations. This I just find funny. And a lot of times I do trash animals in a very beautiful environment with gaudy frames. So you'll see these on my website as well. It's kind of this.
I love opossums. They're so great.
Right? They're both cute and creepy.
They are.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest.
And I love cute. I call them trash animals.
They
I
are.
like cute and creepy animals.
They're so useful, but they're so gross looking.
Right. Over here, this is my teaching area. I've been doing a lot of online teaching since the pandemic hit. I work for LACCD and Brentwood Arts Center, so this is a lot that happens here. I'll get here in a second. This is the work in progress. Here is where I make products, and I just put this out today. These are just some of my social media handles. Again, I link everything to my website, melissadiane.com. So you can go there and then follow the links to any of my other shops. But I do a lot of I've been working on Inktober. So you do a drawing a day for the month of October. It's just kind of fun thing.
Oh my God, one of my favorite movies of all time right there.
Yeah, right?
Tina.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Of course.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take those ink drawings and turn them all into cards. They'll be printed like this. So I just wanted to show you how I do that. I actually put them into the iPad in Procreate or Sketchbook Autodesk, and then print from there. So you can kind of see how this progresses. I also make vinyl stickers. So that's what's in these packages here. And those are going to be coming up for Christmas, probably not Halloween yet, maybe last minute, but so the holidays I'll have little packages of stickers and cards. And these are tags, so you can put them on gifts. So again, original handmade stickers that I put on gift tags.
Zoom in on Tina again.
Yeah,
I did a gender reversal dress up as her one time. I went as Tina.
Nice.
From Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
I was drawing that, and it felt as though I really needed the costume for all.
I had the shoulder pads and everything, yeah. The earrings. It was awesome.
So this is my working area. This is a new body of work that is hopefully going to be done in the next 4 months. Again, thematically, I do a lot with humans, nature, mysticism, signs and symbols. This here, as you can see when I worked on my photograph, it was some trees outside of an old apartment that I lived at. It reminded me of when Native Americans would put those handprints on their horses. That was the symbol of who they were, or the warrior. It wasn't for that reason. This isn't West Hollywood. But it reminded me of that. So I thought it was really a neat pattern. So a lot of times I start my work with abstract patterns and then build them up from there. Although
all right, we got about a minute left. So.
Okay, great. So again, here, some of my landscapes are even local. That's Runyon Canyon. This is Mammoth Lakes. But I reinterpret them into my narratives. And then last is, I say it's always my beautiful light corner. A couple works here. As you can see, I still have the 3D elements with the foam core, this time with birds. I actually have a lot of crows and birds in my work. It's kind of a thing. So landscape, and then the summoning here, again, a kind of mystic piece. And then my drawing desk. So I kind of separate out the area where I work on illustrations and then also drawings for paintings. I have quite a collection of Copic markers and Prismacolors. Again, that's kind of the illustrator side of me, and I just love markers. They translate really well into Procreate and then also paint that I use.
Awesome. I'm going to do a back way so we can see the whole studio and your house and your lovely life you got here with here's your little, what'd you say this is your dressing area up here?
Yeah,
your closet.
My dressing room up there.
And there we go.
Makes it sound like I put on costumes daily, but I'm not,
we are artists. We
wild.
do that. Don't shatter the illusion with our guests. We're crazy artists.
Another adorable trash animal.
All right. Oh, that I don't like them as much.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other raccoon was there.
All right. Thanks so much for letting us stop on in.
Thank you.
We're heading up. You can see our upstairs into our bedroom up there and kitchen. We're stepping back out in the hallway here. I'm going to switch to, who's next?
We're going back over to their building.
Okay, so I'm going to switch to view of downtown LA there. Now the building we're in right now is one of the most interesting buildings in the brewery. It's one of the older buildings. It's a complete jumble. It was a cold storage building. So there's concrete construction, brick construction, steel construction. It's all this different construction mixed because they just kept jamming new buildings onto it. Inside is completely confusing. There are stairways to nowhere. You like walk up stairways and it won't go anywhere. You got all these cold storage doors, all the doors, because it was cold storage and fermentation. It's like 80 years of buildings crammed into one building. There's hallways that go nowhere. There's just strange passages. But as you can see, we have these lovely steel balconies that were put in between the two different parts of the building that now are lounges. So artists can sit up here, enjoy this lovely view of downtown. Chavez Ravine, where the Dodgers play, right there. Elysian Park. So we actually have quite a lovely view, and the UPS, of course, logistics center. Of course, we have UPS across the street from me. I got a big shipment from them last week, and they managed to lose it. You think they could have just thrown it over the fence to me, but they still lost my shipment. But we do live across the street from the main UPS hub. Someone did ask a technical question, what kind of equipment we're using, the LA Art Tours guides. We have an iPhone 11 is my other cohort Magella, and I am using a Samsung Note 20 Ultra. Just the cell phones we have to use because we have to bounce between the Wi-Fi and the cell phone signal. And then we have it mounted on Osmo 4 gimbals. We did try mics originally, but the mics were having even more trouble, so we took off the mics. We have been doing these tours now for almost the entire pandemic, downtown LA graffiti and mural tours. So it's similar to this tour, except we're taking you through the street art. It's a real graffiti artist taking you through the streets, showing you the graffiti art. So that's the other version of this tour we have downtown LA. All right. I'm gonna wander back in here, and I'm gonna literally run up this staircase. Oh no, we don't even have to do the stairs. I'm gonna run down this hall and get outside again. You might lose me for a minute. Look at all this jogging I'm getting in. All right, you guys still with me? Went through the refrigeration door there. I want to spin around, show you one of those funny artifacts left over from when it was a brewery: fermenter, storage, and cellar. So now that we're up here, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson, how the brewery came to be, why it's called the brewery. It was a brewery, East Side Brewery, built in 1897. So we're on the grounds of the East Side Brewery. Lasted through Prohibition, managed to survive that, making soft drinks. Then it also had an Edison power plant that was built in 1904 attached. That's this building over here. There's the smokestack. At the time when it was built in 1904, it was the most advanced power plant in the United States. It was the wonder of electricity. And oh my God, there's actually photos of people flocking from all over Southern California to come see this wondrous power plant, how amazing it was. And this was all just empty grassy fields back then. Then the suburb of Lincoln Heights kind of sprung up around it. It's considered one of the first or the first suburb of LA, downtown LA. 1946, this whole complex was bought by Pabst Blue Ribbon. You guys know it, PBR. They bought it and it became a PBR brewery. It was a PBR brewery then for a little over 30 years. 1979 or 76, they abandoned it. It was bought by a company called Carlson Industries. Carlson Industries, equipment refurbishing company. They take old factories and they take out the equipment. When they're done stripping out all the vats and all the copper and everything, they're left these empty shells of buildings. They decided to try restoring one, and they put an ad in LA Times saying, hey, who wants to live in this or have this building to rent? And all these artists responded. This is the early 80s. All these artists were showing up and they said, hey, I think we're onto something. And thus the Brewery Art Colony was born. 17 acres of artists. I'm going to cross the Sky Bridge right now. Those of you with vertigo might not want to visit and try this. Some people get especially scared of the part here where it's like, oh, I'll fall through. I like to lean off the edge. I'm not scared of heights, so it's fun to me. But yes, we are on the Sky Bridge right now that crosses between the different buildings. 550 artists live and work here. And that's not a mistype or misspell. 550. There's 330 individual spaces spread over 17 acres, 20 to 23 buildings depending on your count. There's a nice little barbecue patio we have. I also call it the Brewery Barbecue Museums. There is barbecues dating back to I think about the 1980s when this place was founded, rusting on this deck here. A lot of barbecues out here. All right, we're going back in the next building. Who are we visiting next? Oscar? Oscar Sheldon. I'm going to be off Wi-Fi for a minute, so we'll see what kind of connection we get in this crazy concrete block. Here's glittery stairs of death. All right. Let's try to get a Wi-Fi connection here, folks. Hopefully you're still with me. Let me know we still got a signal. Let me know we got video. Everyone's saying, it looks like everyone's saying we're okay. Looking good. All right, we're at Oscar Sheldon's place. I'm going to back up, and we're going to go head inside and meet Oscar. He's waiting for us back in the back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Where you at, Oscar?
Oh, hey, buddy.
We lost Oscar. He's somewhere buried in.
He's shipwrecked.
There he comes.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Oscar. Well,
Last painting.
all new group of people, so tell them what you are and who you are. And
My name's Oscar Sheldon. Like to paint big stuff, lots of it. Really weird. So I'll give you a tour. We'll do it in the light real quick and then in the black light. So this is the kitchen area right here. This right here is actually called the space bar. I have a bunch of prints that I did laid out on the table here. Unfortunately, due to COVID, nobody's walking through buying stuff, but maybe next year. So these are all prints that I make right here. This is the space bar. We got Bob Marley right here. We got Buddy the Shark, Salvador Dali, and some paintings, and then there it is in the black light. And we'll actually just make things quicker for you. You can come get the kitchen in the black light too, since we're in this area, so you guys can see the difference. Light. Paintings behind you on the wall too, some surf paintings, some mountains and stuff. You can only see in the light. Got a few hidden up here. A few more right here. My little surf series. Ocean stuff. More ocean stuff. Okay. Regular lights off. Now we're in the chilling zone. And then coming out to here, here's the ship. Here's the Surf and Turf series. Here we have a giant wave, and here we have an African landscape. So we got surf and turf, and we're going all the way from the prehistoric to the extraterrestrial, so it gets weird. We got dinosaurs up here, pterodactyl up here in the center of this piece. I just hung it up there randomly this morning because it just looks good with the orange and orange. Does it actually fit? I don't know. Does any of this fit? I don't know. So some new tenants of the house too. As of this morning, all these plants just went to Home Depot this morning, picked those up. So this is the beach right here. And now, but actually, you don't want to hang out at the beach when it's like this. Nice and cool. This would be a day-to-day around the brewery. You're not madly painting on a scissor lift. Speaking of which, here's my scissor lift and elevator, which I use to sometimes go up to the higher areas. I do have a little lounge back here, which I'm not going to crawl into right now, because I just don't feel like it, but we'll do a top view of it as well. This here, actually, this and all these other similar looking paintings, there's one there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7 up here, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. The series was called Squid Row. It's actually, they're blinds off 64 Santa Barbara cruiser that mysteriously wrecked off the coast of Venice, California, that is. And the blinds were recovered in the shipwreck and turned into the series that you see hanging before you. Now, apparently now they're sails. They've gone from ship blinds to ship sails. They do fit with the theme. This is a Mount Denali piece right here, this big mountain piece, which is actually an oil painting. You've got to see in the light. Kind of get an idea. It's a trip type. The goats, they're at the center of the mountain. They're right there. Just hung those up this morning, actually. Thought it just fit nice with the theme. And then I just hung this up 5 minutes ago. This is the raft from my version. Precariously hanging. That's my remake I did of the original, which is my favorite painting ever by Theodore Diller, called Seen in Louvre in France. Never seen the real thing, but did paint a remake. And now, for the final, upstairs.
Let's run through in 1 minute.
You got 1 minute? Okay. Just run up.
Doing the sprint tour.
Do the sprint tour.
I've run up so many stairs today, I don't even know. So.
Do the sprint tour right here. You got the upper lounge. Bar area without a drop of booze. The lounge right here. More of the sails. Dictator series. We got Trump, Che Guevara, Kim Jong-un, and George Bush on the way out. And I'm going to leave this guy out because he's running out. Head back out. Watch out for George. But it's all good. Dolly's got your back. Dolly's got your back. Salvador, that is. And now we heading back out to the city. We're heading back out into this urban mess we call Los Angeles, over the railroad tracks, to the Standard, to the ocean. And that concludes the tour of Sheldon Art Gallery. Oh, you didn't miss this one. I don't know if we can get a quick peek in here, but
Sure.
This is the other side of the space bar. It's the little lounge for chilling, just relaxing, taking in all the madness.
All right. Thanks so much for letting us walk into the Sheldonian gallery.
All right.
One last view here so you guys can take it all in. Floor to ceiling. All one giant immersive space.
On the
right, backing out, not crashing anything. All right, I made it out. Let's zoom in one time on his sign here, so you'll see it there.
That's funny,
Shadonian.
actually. Harrison Love painted this. My
Oh,
old
did he?
buddy.
I remember
Yeah.
Harrison. Harrison's a wacky.
Good dude.
Oscar Sheldon.
Yeah,
All right.
H Love. Harris, funny you painted.
All right. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to spin around so you guys can see one of the fun artifacts here. Like I said, it was a PBR brewery. Pabst, when they left, just left everything here. Carlson's, of course, ripped out most of the stuff and sold, that was their business, was selling all these old bats and stuff, but they left all kinds of funny things like Pabst believes in safety. If you take our actual walking tour of the brewery, the guides know all kinds of crazy things like that, all these little hidden things that we can't really show you as easily right now, but there's lots of little hidden artifacts. So I am going to switch to another Wi-Fi, and I'm going to run down this hallway and try to catch it. Bronze sculpture. All right. Let me make sure we're connected okay. It looks like it. Wi-Fi's going. Head on it. Oh, and here's our greeter right here. Oh, I'm not going to let you lick the lens, though. That will cause problems. All right. We are in the studio here of Olivier. He's going to come and tell us a little about himself and his work. Or you want me to come back there?
Oh, feel free to stroll.
All right. You want to say anything to the crowd?
Oh, no, just thanks for coming, Kevin.
All right. Thanks for having us. Say goodbye to all the people out there in the world.
Wear your masks.
Wear your mask.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Have a great day. We're going to say goodbye to the big fur ball here. All right.
Thank you very much.
What's our next stop?
Next up is across the way there to Dave.
Oh, that's right, Dave. All right, folks. Hopefully we kept connection there. I'm switching back on the Wi-Fi here. Make sure we connect. And trying to connect. Hey there, Dave.
Hey, come on in.
All right, Dave. Well, tell us about yourself.
Well, I lived here for 22 years, so obviously I love the brewery. Basically, my career changed when I moved here. Just first off, just having the space to do the work that you want to do, but then the secondary benefit of having these art walks that unfortunately you're not able to attend, but hopefully you're enjoying it virtually. But it's just nice to be able to talk to people about my work. I'm represented by several galleries across the country, tons of exhibitions in Europe and whatnot. But you don't, in the gallery situation, you don't always get to talk to the collectors as much as you'd really like to, or show them the process. And so for me, it's the art walks have just totally made a huge difference for that. My work is all about vintage, from signage to cars to art objects, especially 50s and 60s. It just was a great time for design and craftsmanship and things on so many different levels. Not a perfect time period though, for sure, as far as social issues and things, but it's really just more about the visual for me with the signage and things. So you can see from art objects down here, the candies and everything, to some of these, to automobiles. Many people think that my work are photographs or somehow computer generated or something. They're actually linoleum block prints, which most people are familiar with, a woodcut. The German expressionists did woodcuts where you're literally carving a piece of wood. In this case, carving a piece of linoleum. And what's left raised is what allows you to print onto paper. So all the work is done that way. It kind of takes getting up close to really see the texture of the oil-based ink and everything. This is a little bit of a demonstration that shows the process somewhat. I'll just go through it quickly because it gets a little confusing, but I do, so specifically, I do linoleum block prints, but more specifically, I do reduction lino cuts. Picasso, whose birthday it would have been today, did a big series in the 50s of this medium, and really it hadn't been done very often. It existed before Picasso, but this series really, he took it to a whole new level and really innovated the process. So when I discovered this book in college, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. It's very labor intensive. It takes a lot of forethought. It's very deliberate when you go to the block and carve. And so that's really what attracted me, that it was something that was really showing my artistic skills to turn out a final piece. So real quickly, I just start with my own photographs. So I take my own photo scrap from all around, mainly LA, but I branched out into, you know, all areas throughout the country. There's so much great signage out there, but it's disappearing. So that's another element of my work, is actually preserving some of the signs that we see and things. Then I do an ink drawing from that photo. Then I have to do a charcoal tracing because the image has to be reversed on the block, just because of the printing process. So I do a charcoal tracing. Once I have that, I flip that down on the block with an oleum, rub the back, and the image will transfer to the block. So once I have this, I spray fix it so it'll stay on the block throughout the whole process. Then my jumping off point is always revealing the white of the paper. So I would go in, and where I want the white of the paper to show, I gouge those areas away by hand with little V gouges and U gouges. Ink the block with my first color, which is usually the lightest color, and then I print an addition. So say I print 10 pieces of paper that all look just like that. It's oil-based ink, so it needs a few days to dry. So while that's drying, I go back to the same block, and now I think about where I want to reveal that pale yellow. So I go back and I carve a little bit more in those areas. Then I ink the block with the darker yellow. I take that piece of paper and I lay it straight down on the block, and then it becomes that. So you can see where there's just a few little bit of the yellow, pale yellow showing through. Same thing where I want to reveal this darker yellow, it's going to be a little shadow on here. Go back to the same block and I keep going. This is just for demonstration purposes, because this is actually the block that printed this whole piece. So you can see what's left raised here allowed me to print this blue sky and finish the piece. And there's not really any place to go from the block because it has been carved away so much. So again, all the work is done that way, even these larger pieces. I am obviously trying to go for realism, but I do want people to get up close and, like I said, see the texture and see that they are all printed from a block of linoleum. This is a commission I'm just starting for a collector in Austin, Texas. It's the Continental Club sign. So I just removed all this area away. But again, everything is carved by hand. It's, like I said, nothing from the computer or anything. So it takes literally hours and hours and hours just to do a final piece, especially through all the colors. This is how I roll the ink onto the block. I mix up everything's hand mixed, nothing straight out of a tube. And again, it's oil-based ink. So we do a little quick inking. And I'll show you on a small press that I use how we print it. Pretty good. Go over here. Take the block. So this is a small press that I use I'm doing a whole new alphabet series where I'm actually not doing reduction, but I'm printing from 2 blocks. So I print the font first, and then I print a stylized neon font that I create on top of that. So this is just the first layer. So you can see how that goes. This is the larger press that I work on for all the bigger pieces. This is an example of what a final piece looks like with the font printed and then the neon on top of that. This G is from that actual goodies sign that I lucked into. It used to be an old cafe diner that I lucked into getting the signage from. Again, some of the bigger pieces, you know, and again, having this, when I was talking about having the space, it's just nice to have my whole setup here where I can do all the carving, I can do the inking, run it through the press, put it in the drying rack. After 25 years, a career of 25 years, this is filled with prints, like literally to the brim. If anybody ever has any questions, Instagram has been a really fun thing for me because I get to show the process. I do a lot of reveal peels where I'm actually pulling after I put, and the thing about the process too is everything you can see is you put it face down. So I don't even know what it's going to look like. I don't know if the registration is going to be on. And so when I do that peel up, then on Instagram, it's really fun to show those. And Lefner Editions is my Instagram. What else can I tell you? Let's see.
And everyone, yeah, you can see Dave Lefner's links and all the other links to all the artists on the Brewery Artwalk website again. So just make sure you look on there. And let's take the expansive look of your house.
Yes, please do. Again, it is our home as well as the studio. That's my wife up there.
You can see her waving.
Lovely, talented wife. She just finished her own reduction line cut after 13 years. She finally. She helps me out at Artwalk immensely, but this is Shiloh's Seascape that is a reduction too. So she's an actress, and so but she's obviously multi-talented too. This just one more. This is the alphabet series. I'm almost done. I only have like 3 more letters to do, but that kind of shows what's going.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for having us in your house and in your studio.
Absolutely, thank you for coming.
I'm going to show your kitchen wall since everyone loves to see that on the way out.
When I first moved in, there was half a wall here, which didn't really make any sense, so I knocked that down and I just collected these over the years.
Old windows.
Yeah, that's a
awesome.
1960. That stove works. It's a 1960 Frigidaire Flare.
There's been a couple spaces with vintage stoves, and I'm in love.
It's just the coolest stuff. Again, vintage design. I mean, it's like it's too much.
When they built it, though, they're like, "This is the future."
Right. Exactly.
Like Adam Punk era, they're like, "The future is now." All right, thanks again, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
I'm going to spin around.
We're heading back into the Atrium building. We're going to go see Vaughn.
Why'd they send me that way? I disagree with that route. Dave Lefner again is who we just saw. And now I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi again. And hope. Laundry rooms. We have plenty of those around in case y'all need to do laundry. All right, let's make sure I got a connection here again. You guys all seeing me and hearing me still, or seeing and hearing? Everyone's got audio still? All right. Well, I like to show funny little things when we're here. In the middle of this weird giant building we're in, and I'd seen this for years and I had no idea what it was. This is this creepy little staircase here. And I was figuring, okay, it goes down to some storage area or something, some abandoned thing. Turns out down that creepy staircase, there is a loft down there. Someone's down there. Someone lives there. It's got little like 6-foot ceilings, and it's like the Phantom of the Opera of the brewery. So we just walked out into this space here. Now we get the view basically on the other side of all those buildings we were just in. So remember the smokestack. You can see it there. And this strange structure here is actually the original loading docks. So these were the loading docks when it was a brewery. These were all the storage and dry storage and all that. And so dry goods coming in, wet goods going out. There's actually some weird, like 30 feet up in the air, these big doors basically where stuff had to go, come out from above, and all kinds of neat architectural elements. So what the Carlsons did when they converted it was they basically took these giant warehouses and they just kind of subdivided them here, put these windows in, added different stuff to make them habitable, put plumbing in, and they became artist spaces. All right, we're going to go visit our next artist, Vaughn. Let me get some Wi-Fi going in here. Give me a sec, folks. Oh, and let's see if we're connected yet.
All right. Everett can show you around.
Is he our guide or are they our guides? These are the
Either
three
one.
real guides, aren't
Either
they?
one of them will talk better than I will.
Look at that. There's our three guides for today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vaughn, and this is my stuff. A lot of it is older stuff. I've been here at the brewery since 2006, and then about 3 years ago, had this one. So there's not been a lot of time for art, but please come take a look. Mostly do charcoal and Conte crayon on acrylic backgrounds on canvas. And I am doing Inktober right now, so if you check my Instagram, you'll see that, Vaughn Hannon Art. But otherwise, come take a closer peek and let me know if you have any questions.
All right.
Awesome.
Anything else you'd like to tell us?
Well, thanks for coming. You can find this stuff and some other stuff at art.vaughannon.com and get a hold of me there if you have any other questions or want to know more.
Let's go say goodbye to your assistants as well.
Right. Very helpful, all three of them.
You guys all did a great job, all three of you.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, cheers. Thanks.
Someone suggested, are you inspired by your child or are you just a child at heart? Because I guess
both.
The quality of your work is
always a child at heart, and now a little extra inspiration.
all right. Cool. Spin ourselves around here and head on out. Thanks for having us, Vaughn.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Okay, so we're back out here. We're heading into a building right now called the Atrium. Atrium has about 50 artists living at 50 spaces, all just crammed all together. It kind of reminds me of like a apartment building or apartment block, in the valley somewhere. It just needs a dry swimming pool in the middle. So we're gonna walk on in. I have like 12 different Wi-Fi signals in here, so I'm gonna try to make sure we're on the right Wi-Fi at all times, but bear with me if we have a little bit of interruption. Atrium. Here's the view of the atrium. So all these doors you see in all around this place are all different studios, different lofts with different artists living there. You notice the trees in the middle. Like I said, there should be an empty swimming pool if it was a proper apartment building in the valley. Now, all these trees, you might have noticed a lot of greenery as we walked around, as I was showing you outside. There's a lot of greenery at the brewery. All the artists, a lot of them have their own little gardens outside, and then in public areas like this, there's no dirt. I mean, this is an asphalt and concrete jungle. Not a bit of dirt to be found. But a long time ago, they cut out all these little squares or cut jackhammered little holes in the asphalt. And from those little holes and those little squares, they put little seedlings in, and now we have a jungle here. LA Times, a long time ago in the late 90s, actually did an article on the gardens of the brewery because there are so many fascinating gardens that all these artists had built. So they wanted to showcase them. So let's visit our next artist here. Let's zoom in on his sign. We are here to see Todd Westover. Todd in Abstract Flower. So I'm going to open on in because I see he's ready for me.
Hey, Kevin.
There you go. How's it going, Todd?
How are you?
Oh, different shoes on this time. Todd's just messing with me so you guys know, because I've never seen Todd with shoes on in my entire 10 years of knowing him. And then I made a point of saying that. So now every tour he's been wearing different shoes. So to prove he owns them.
I'm ready.
Okay, now I know you own shoes. You proved it to me.
Why don't you have a lap? Take a look around.
All right. Let's go see what Todd's got here for us to see. Will says hello.
Hi, Will.
All right, other wall here.
This one has a ship. And it's new. This one is for an art show in a dollhouse. This is one of my favorite paintings. These are influenced by black light posters. Remember going through the curtain, the beaded curtain in the head shop in the back? Not that I ever was in a head shop. But,
of course not.
But.
Quickly changing the sunglasses. Impressive.
This one is big, 10 feet. So it's from a series on Mount Washington, a neighborhood in Los Angeles. And yeah, that's one of them. This is another Mount Washington painting. I've been painting on it. And that's what happens in a quarantine. You look at your paintings all day and then at some point you go, wow, I think I should paint more on that. And so I did, but I think I should stop. This is another painting that I've been painting on. It's also now finished, I think. These are new, these houses, relatively new. This one's in Mount Washington. Excuse me. Hey, thanks for coming. It's a beautiful day out there, huh?
Oh, it's well.
Oh my goodness.
Not too bad.
These are prints. Some of these are printed by our friend Will. Thank you, Will. These are amazing prints. This is a silk screen. Used to be 11, now there's 2. These are new. There were 3, now there's 2. One of them is in France. Very honored. Oh, yeah, thanks. I have a line of clothing, scarves, very glamorous, shirts, kimonos. There's a mask, which I probably should be wearing. Looks like this. Actually, there's 4 masks. Pants, capri, yoga pants, purses, pillows. These are prints, framed prints. Large framed prints, because the small ones, here, these are the small framed prints. I used to have more, but they sell pretty regularly. I have a line of greeting cards. Oh, by the way, westovertodd.com for all this. Prices, apparel, greeting cards, by the box or individual. And then there's a book published last year. It pretty much had everything up to that point. Actually, I've painted probably 20 more paintings since the book was published, so now I got to do a new book, I guess. And that's about it. That's my tour.
Awesome, Todd. Thanks for letting us stop in, see your life, see your house, see your lovely place here, see you actually wearing shoes. I didn't believe it, but he does own shoes, everyone.
And you got even better shoes this time.
I know.
Trio.
He's ready for the rain. So
I'm ready.
thanks for having us, Todd.
Bye, Todd.
Bye-bye.
See you again.
Bruce next? Or Burton, I mean?
Just next door.
Burton. All right, folks, stepping back out here into the atrium. Going to switch to our next guy's Wi-Fi. There's a list about 50 long of Wi-Fi's here. Give me one sec, folks. He doesn't want to give up Todd's. He likes Todd's a lot. Hey there, Burton.
Hello.
This
Cheers.
is
Welcome to Burton Gray.
and give them the floor-to-ceiling look this time with the stylish shoes on and everything.
I'm really a poser.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I guess
Your modeling career, you know, is.
Get my COVID hair. I realized in the last video, I finally watched myself. I should have watched it last time. Like, oh god, that looks even worse than I thought.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
Long and stringy. Anyways, I've got 2 wine options for you, Kevin.
Oh my goodness, look at that. No one else has offered me refreshments yet.
Unbelievable.
Till we get
Monsters.
to Burton.
I got 2 options: a Malbec, a full body Malbec, or a Beaujolais that's more easy drinking for the day.
Let's go for the easy drinking.
I was going to recommend.
You know,
this one went for the full body. She's intense.
No.
You've got enough pressure on yourself.
Yeah, this has been a long day. I need some easy drinking, easy listening, easy everything.
Big full
That's
bar.
yeah. That's.
You got to get drunk to get through the last few hours.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's been a brutal schedule. All right. Well, tell us about yourself, Burton. We're ready to go.
I like wine, but when I'm not drinking wine, I am painting. And I was an oil painter, but I'm now a digital painter. So what does that translate to? Not much difference in terms of the imagery I make, but I spend a lot more time on it, and it evolves. And so it changes a little bit. It means I was doing kind of surreal stuff. Now I'm doing extra surreal stuff with hyper detail. And I guess you could do a quick zoom of the table, get a sense of the imagery that I'm working
Body
with
of work you do.
That'd be helpful. Yeah, so I have like these evolving Fantasias, the Animal series, more crazy Fantasias, more figurative type stuff, some crazier stuff, some less but still crazy stuff, and some more like simple things. I'm big on thinking about like how the art works psychologically for myself, and then hopefully for other people. So I usually think in terms of what mental state I want to be in when I'm looking at it, and usually that comes down to if I'm feeling a certain way, I try to find the counterpoint, hence the term, my name is not really gray, it's just a gray philosophy of like balance. So I'm feeling anxious, I try to make the counterpoint of a piece that's calming. If I'm feeling too calm and like I'm not motivated enough to do stuff, then I'm going to do a piece like the skull that's got a bunch of high contrast elements, a lot of forms that goes soft to hard, so it kind of like leads your eye around. A lot of imagery that inspires like to take action. The skull, the constant reminder you're going to die sometime. so like sees the day. So that's like the antithesis of this. But let me go more upstairs.
All right.
Also, if you guys want to know more about the art or more about physical products, let me know. But that's the big advantage to digital. It means options. So while I paint these images, it's like recorded in time and space. I can do whatever I want with it. Right now, I'm really big on.
We're gonna have Burton run upstairs and turn off his audio real quick because he has the tour streaming.
Oh, no, it's Columbo.
Oh, he has an episode of Columbo playing. I'm sorry, but even still, it can mess up our audio when we start having other different things playing. As much as Columbo would be awesome, you know.
That's my favorite background thing.
You just leave Columbo in the background while you work?
Yeah, because it's the same episodes over and over again. So it's like part of my creative process, actually. Because I'm so familiar with the episodes at this point. Like, I'll start working, and I start off, because it's digital, you don't have to worry about ruining a piece. So I start off like very specific what I want to do, very analytical, and then I start getting more and more subliminal as I start listening to when I'm like the background noise, which is like the conscious brain starts following the narrative of Columbo. So then the unconscious starts to take over, and it leads to like interesting stuff. Like 9 times out of 10, it's garbage. I gotta like just delete the layer. But 1 out of 10 times is something that I've never done or had the chutzpah to do anyways. So that leads to like more creative inspiration and more interesting works from my point of view. Whether or not you think so, it's up to you. On a more physical note, I really need to focus on the sailing thing, but I'd love to talk about art as soon as I get this crap out of the way. But online, burtongray.com, pretty much you can get any of my images, and in the store or the buy art section, it's like my basic, all my imagery, and you can like look at them and order all those. Those pieces are produced by a fine art production house, so they're like super high quality. Like as you can see, it's comparable to what you see around. And they also offer more things that I can't do. But if you want what you see here, or if you ever see me out and about, like when I exhibit anywhere, I use mounted canvases. So how that works is I start here, I make the painting, I print them out here, then I let them dry in the back right corner, then I spray them, I spray coat them, back where like the pretty lady and the snake is, and then I mount them on wood panels here, and then I back them as you can see, and with like a thumbprint, those coming from the artist, a code saying like information about it, and then hopefully the results. Ooh, I don't know. Big reveal. Wait, let me make sure it's not. That's right side. Ooh, so and then that's results. On a side note, when I do it in-house, the one advantage to having me do it is I can stamp it in the bottom right corner with this bad boy right here, this press. Then it bosses my face into the piece. If you're into that sort of thing.
Is there one on this one, an emboss?
Sure, I hope so. It's really subtle on the it's in there. It's just really subtle on the canvas.
Might not be able to see it on the camera here.
You couldn't. So I noticed the other one I watched. Like I can't see even on this piece of paper. You couldn't read it. Just trust me. It's actually you could look.
I can see it.
You can see it on here. That's what it looks like.
So that shows up on all the canvases he prints here.
Yeah, and if I do this 8x10 face prints, I advertise those a little bit. Although they don't sell great online, but they fit perfectly in 8x10 frames. So and they're $20 a piece, and then 3 for $50. These are also basically in line with the stretch canvas option. But you gotta wait for me. It usually takes me about 2 to 3 weeks. They usually do it in under 2. Anyway, so now that's the business gobbledygook. If you want to know about the art stuff or actually see how I paint these digitally, I do Wednesday shows every Wednesday at Zoom show currently, and those are like audience participation type things. Earlier in the day, I post on Instagram and Facebook, Burton Gray, or Artist Burton Gray for Facebook, and I do 4 options for people to vote on, and I generally paint the one that's most popular. Whoever tunes in gets like ultimate say, but generally I go with what people vote for, and then you can see me do an hour painting. They're not gonna be a masterpiece, but they'll be a full painting, so you can see how I do it, how it's pretty much just like an oil painting, except with layers, so you can you work front to back.
So that's Burton Gray's Instagram, everyone. You go on that, and you can see a live demo every Wednesday.
Well, you get the information for the Zoom link. Zoom is a separate app.
Yeah. But you go on Instagram to find out when it's happening and get the information. So check out his Zoom.
Yeah.
So you get that.
I do kind of counter stream on Facebook, but it's not as good of a show because it's on my monitor, so it's like a little bit off. A couple pieces you can see that I have up are my Pantages. I got into the skull earlier. The tree is the one I've already explained a couple times, but
Why don't you explain again? It's a whole new crowd.
This is a whole new crowd.
And they love this explanation.
So this is now the 4th time I had to explain it. So the pressure's on, like kick it up a notch.
Yeah, let's
You're
see.
refining it each time.
All right, now I'm gonna fall on my face. Too much pressure now. I can't handle it. But I'll do my best. Okay, so it's a life cycle piece, and it's on a narrative level. On a formal level, it's like just a green like fire or energy thing that's structured such as it has lines that go crisscross, and it's complicated, but it's simplified by the fact that all the lines generally lead back to the center and up. So what it's telling the back of your brain is that everything's complex, but ultimately there's a simple organization to it. And I find that relaxing, even though it might be BS, but to some degree it's nice. Now the narrative element, the life cycle aspect, is down here where it's like out of blackness. There's like a river Styx sky. And so that's kind of like coming out of like your soul out of non-existence into existence. You go through the birth canal. The first landscape is very colorful, childlike. There's fun little animals. As you go through the landscape up the path, it gets less childlike. You get a tree house, you get a real house, you keep going, you come across a mausoleum, as you start to lose people in your life, sort of a metaphor. The path sort of turns into water, and the water turns into light, from whence he came. And ultimately, all these things are supposed to work together, kind of create like a relaxing or a counterbalance when you're feeling anxious. It works for me. I don't know if it works for everyone else, but the people that like it and get one generally feel the same. And so like this is like the biggest version, 580. Obviously have cheaper versions. Like a small mounted one is, I believe, a little under 100. And also like 8x10 prints, $20. So I try to make it accessible. If you really want a poster, I could probably custom order a poster, which will last like 3 or 4 years and look cool, but for much less. So I'm really about getting images into houses, because my goal is to like have the art interact with people's spaces, and that's the ultimate goal. So that's my biggest spiel. If there's any questions, or if you guys should go on, or do you think we should do another quick demo?
What do we got?
We're good on time.
We're good on time. We can go up and do a quick demo. People love seeing your demos. Let's do it.
Demo. I'm gonna grab my wine.
We're gonna do a 1-minute demo this time.
Open a window this time. I didn't think you were gonna go out. So
Well,
we'll go anywhere you invite us.
Yeah.
Within reason.
We're going into Burton's home, into his actual bedroom and his office here. We're into the actual where it really happens.
Nice, sorry.
And we have an episode of Columbo ready to stream for us.
Streaming. That's my background.
And Burton taught me something today that I didn't know. You can turn your monitors vertically, which I have a 3-monitor setup, and I never thought to do this. I'm kicking myself. One of my monitors is going like this as of tomorrow.
Beautiful. All right. Here's an earlier demo. Here's a painting I've been working on. Trump Lloyd Fantasia. Kind of ignore it. It's kind of in the middle. Although, real briefly, I didn't get into this for the last one. I could kind of show how. I'll still do the demo first. We have time. We'll go through the piece. It'll be more interesting. There. All right. So basically, the purpose of this demo is just to show how this is essentially just like an oil painting. So like, here's your background. It could be usually start with like a solid tone. I will start with a little bit more solid tone, for instance. And then on a new layer, I would start drawing. So what do I want to do for this one? Actually, let me get rid of this thing. I don't care about that. Let's do another face, or
yeah, let's do a
different
face.
Face.
Do someone different than last time.
The other direction, or straight on. We're looking up.
And so, folks, as an oil painter myself, this feels like the process of oil painting to me. It's just being done with the computer, which I've never done myself. I'm a boring old-fashioned oil painter. This fascinates me. It's amazing.
Do this one more of a masculine energy. The other one was kind of feminine. I'll make this one a good monster as opposed to an evil angel.
All right, I like that.
All right, so let's do a little bit more masculine here.
Our last tour got an evil angel. This tour gets a good
Oh, you
monster.
can see what the last one got. The last one got this one.
The
Oh, she's a
evil.
little devilish, which is a cutie. So I'm gonna do not a cutie.
She gets you in with her cuteness.
Yeah, right.
And then you don't see the evil coming. It just blindsides you.
So now I'll try to make this guy. How can it be a nice monster? Let's see. I'll make him kind of a sweetness in the mouth, maybe. It's kind of the tricky part. Oh, I know. I'll give him kind of sad eyes. That'll do it.
It's fascinating to me too. It's like, in a way, watching someone play a video game, because he's using both hands. He's using his fingers to do finger controls as he uses his pen. beyond my skills.
Let's see. Let's see how it turns
But
out.
is that sort of like, I always think of kids who have all these different buttons on their video games they're smashing away, and that's Burton smashing away but creating art.
Yeah, one in a nutshell. So yeah, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him horns, but I'll make him like maybe curving down or feathers. No, I like that. I'm gonna do curving down horn.
More Pam-like, less demon.
Yes. Get a little bit darker here. Set brow eye. And then darkish nose. Monster. Get him more expressive. Curvy ears and some more monstrous, and wavy hair, and yeah, the horns coming out, but kind of fun.
It's amazing to watch this just come to life. You should do some time lapse, like sped up versions.
So it goes faster than this?
No, but I mean that'd be kind of cool to watch this
appear.
whole thing appear in like a minute. Just be like,
yeah, a lot of people do that. I mean, I'm not really generally pushing this. This is just kind of like to show how it works for people.
No, I think this is amazing to watch.
But this is the way I work creatively. Creatively, I work very slow and steady, and I paint it like 20 times. Here, let's get a couple highlights. Get really sell this illusionism here. So the highlight would be coming up here. Actually, I should probably have a couple sharper spots. See, it starts to come to life with some highlights. I'm kind of working monochrome. As you get, you see. Then I'll do like glazes after. That's generally how I work. Even when I was an oil painter, that's generally how I work.
So you're basically doing a digital glaze then.
So will be. I'm not doing it this moment.
But that's what I mean. What you're gonna do? I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's just thinner layers on top of this layer. More shadow. Just 30 on this side. Yeah, so let's do now color layer. And let's say maybe go in a different direction. Because it's digital, you just take huge risks. So this is blue, which probably isn't gonna work, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be kind of interesting. If we don't like it, we can always undo it. Oh, the horns. Let's see. I like antenna horns. Maybe like twisting, spirally horns. Nah, garbage. I should have. Let's see. What's your favorite colors? I could try to work anything in really.
That's all right. I like blue, so you're doing good with me.
Nailed it.
Half my artwork is blue.
Is it? I don't associate you with blue. I associate with evil and like grungy, like
evil
stuff.
Gee, thanks.
Well, because last time you picked evil pretty quick.
Yeah,
you didn't have to think
you know.
about it. I'm like, good or evil? Evil, evil, evil. Do we?
My place does look like a disturbing mutant-filled bomb shelter, so you know.
Anyway, so here's the thing. So now, like, let's say I hate that color, let's get rid of it. You know, or I can just make it a little bit lighter. You know, generally what's going to work, I'll probably like lighten it a little bit, and then I'll go in and just start hitting a couple more edges, like for finishing, and then that would call it a day. On a side note, because you work on layers, you can work front to back, so that's another like really fun thing about digital. So let me do background.
So are people following? Basically, we just went from an empty piece of canvas to a painting.
But here, like, see, I don't have to worry about it affecting the image. Now, I didn't go all the way. It's not opaque painting, so a little bit comes through. But, and then let's say you don't like that, get rid of it, you know? So let's do red sky.
And you do this every Wednesday, you do these demos?
I do a demo. Like, here's the last time I was saying, I did like 4 options here, and then the actual show.
So you gave everyone these 4 options on Instagram.
This is the winner. I did a color version. It's like, actually, it's about an hour, 5 minutes, hour 10-ish. But
That's
essentially...
amazing.
The B actually won in this case, but everyone who showed up wanted the ghost, so
you got the ghost.
You know, those
all right.
Show up.
That was great.
That's it in a nutshell. And thanks for coming by.
Yay!
All right. Thank you for the wine.
Oh, yeah.
Finally got offered some refreshments around here.
of people live here.
I know.
The brewery. Don't come to the brewery. No one offers you wine.
We walk around for 3 hours showing their places. No one offers us anything.
I offered you coffee.
I know, this morning.
Someone offered you coffee because you said you just had a cup.
Well, no, I'd had my own coffee, yeah. If I had drinking your coffee, I would have been bouncing off the walls. All right. I'm going to walk by this wall as I walk out just so you guys can see just some of the body of work that Burton has. I mean, it's a pretty fantastic body of work. And this is just, a sample of some of the stuff he's done.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. The other advantage of going through me versus easy option on the website is I can make recommendations. They send me a photo of the place. It's going to be hung, and I can make like side recommendations or scale recommendations. Like for instance, the green tree, if it's going above a couch, to make it a little bit wider, so there's more green. It's not optimal for the composition, but in that place, the image will read better.
So you can customize it more for them. That's awesome.
It's all about tailor making these images. The images are designed to like work on like targets inside out, and then they're designed so they can be like form fitted. They can be squares. A lot of them are very tall, depending on the space. With limits, but essentially can do anything.
Look at your LEDs blink crazy on the camera.
Oh no, time to get going.
That's interesting. All right, I'm putting the wine glass back so I don't steal it.
All right.
Thanks, Burton. Thanks for having us.
Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, where are we at next here? Lori. All right, we're going to do some Wi-Fi jumping again here, folks. As we walk by all these people's lofts. They're all sitting down to dinner and such. Well, maybe not quite dinner yet. Late lunch. All right, hold on one sec. We got to try to connect. Oh, well. We might not have our next one. Yeah, let's go down to Cinda then. We're not sure if Lori's here. I'll try knocking again. The last artist was Burton Gray. Someone was asking that question. That is Burton Gray. Lori might have been called away somewhere. Her cat is here. Oh, hi. Okay. So is she? Okay. We're going to just skip on down to Cinda then. Our next stop. Lori might have got caught up on something. It's a long 2 days. Brewery, one of my besties. Me and her go on awesome road trips together. So I'm going to take you in here and we're going to visit with Cinda. Cinda, you home?
Come on in, buddy.
Hi. All right.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming.
All right, Cinda. Well, tell us who you are, show us what you do, get your energy up, and give us the awesome tour.
All right, dude. I'm Cinda Valle. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. This is my studio where I paint, live, and I also teach painting here. And you will see an alum of my painting atelier right there, Michael. And over here today is visiting artist Daniela. So they'll be with us too. But you know what I've been missing in the studio is people. You guys from the art walk and just all the people that I would paint with and all the people that would drop by. I always thought of myself as a loner, so I was surprised how much I miss people. That's why I made these guys come. For some reason, the energy of other people working in the same space as me, I could be in the studio all day as long as somebody else is there.
We're gonna have to go road tripping again. Then we'll get some.
I would love.
We're ready to road trip again. It's been like a year since we've been on a road trip. So
I don't know how that one happened. What is the name of where we went?
Palm Springs. The robot.
It was a Christmas guy.
The Christmas robots. Yeah.
They may not know, but
it was weirdest thing.
That was fun. Love anything surreal like that. Maybe talking about surrealism is if you move to pan the wall.
Yep, let's get you all.
I'm going to say I'm interested in really traditional painting techniques. In fact, primary one that you see employed here is actually a technique that dates back at least 500 years involving underpainting and glazing. And if you can look at the work in general, I hope you notice that it pops out, the contrast and the color saturation is greater than paintings are normally, and I've got to tell you, that's a technique that's been around 500 years. The cool thing about it is our palette includes many modern colors that they didn't get to use until I think within the last 100 years. Plus, none of the colors I use have lead in them, so I'm not going to die like many artists back in the day. So there's really advantages to me knowing this old technique because it makes the work look different and it sort of makes me pop out. And I am just naturally attracted to high contrast. I think that's because I was born in 1955, the same year as the TV. And then color TV came up when I was like 5 or 6. So I was the first one to get to see living color on TV. And I think I really imprinted on that idea of these beautiful moving colored pictures and all this visual excitement. And I think it, like life does, shaped my aesthetic. It's just kind of the chance of where and who I was when I grew up. And I used to, I'm going to tell you, speaking of growing up, one of the books I loved the best is called Harold and the Purple Crayon. And in this book, Harold, whatever he drew with the purple crayon would become real. So the very first time I read that idea, in fact, I was so young I couldn't read. It was read to me. I fell in love with the idea of a controllable world. If you think about surrealism, that's basically what it is. It's a magic world of your own creation, doesn't have to follow any of the laws of nature, but it is very believable because it looks real. So I became really interested in making things look real because the more real I can make the conventional things look, the more you're going to believe the magic. Like this one I just finished where the lady's waterfall, half waterfall. This whole middle row, can I tell them, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
I usually gather from my models. I try to talk people I see on a regular basis, and I fell in love with Michael the first time I ever saw him, and he agreed to model for me, and here he is in these 8
So this is Michael right here.
And this is Michael right here.
So there's the original.
Well, so what I found so cool about him is that I raised my kids up north where it was really kind of old-fashioned and macho and not progressive. And then 25 years went by, and I came back to LA. I hadn't been here in a while, but it was where I was in the 80s. I was so excited to meet a man. You know, we say comfortable with his woman. It's a cliche, but this is an extremely male man that doesn't use that maleness in the way it usually is in America, like macho, afraid to cry, doesn't express emotions. This is not Michael, and yet he's a beautiful man. There couldn't be anybody more masculine, and yet he's a beautiful woman too. I was so thrilled with that idea that I think I might paint him forever if he lets me. Students that I met 30 years ago when I first started teaching are still my subjects. So I love the idea that I get long enough to paint Michael throughout his life. To me, that's one of the really interesting things.
You want to show me your work area over there? I love your palettes and stuff.
God.
I always make her do this. She gets mad. She wants to sit in her chair the whole time.
I don't mad, but come walk here first.
Okay, first we're going to her.
I just want to show you how gross it can get.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a view love the ones I have. Oh, that one's kind of nice.
These are her old palettes.
But these are real old. It takes me about a year. The one I have now is prettier. I'm gonna get it. Those get real dusty.
You didn't think I was gonna let you sit in that chair the whole tour, did you?
I love to sit in that.
Yeah.
I love anything with wheels.
You didn't think I was gonna let you though. I was gonna make you get up.
Isn't this beautiful?
So that's your current palette right there?
That's the one I'm using right now, and it's my favorite because my mom, it's a pie tin. She made truly awful pies, but I'm really excited to take the same tin that was in my life, and now I use it daily. Helps me remember her. Yeah, I just like the way it looks.
And if you look around Cinda's place, every piece of furniture, every single object. Oops, I got on your bong there closely, but you know everything has oil painting on it. I mean, there's oil paint on every surface, all our clothes. I love it. That to me is a real oil painter. I mean, if you're not covered, or a real painter, I mean, in my case, I have spray paint. Every piece of clothing I have has spray paint on it. You've got oil paint on everything.
Dude, you stay tidy, but you're a maker, just
no,
like me.
but we get covered with you get passionate, and you get covered with your work. You get covered with oil paint all the time.
I know. I sense that in you.
And here's the last thing also.
Oh, yes.
Remember, you can do what you want with your spaces. Cinda put a swing in her space. In fact, let's see how well the video quality stays while I'm sitting on the swing here. Whee!
At art walks in the past, kids have taken people out with that swing.
Really?
You wouldn't believe how much energy just simply swinging.
See, this is what I love about these art spaces. I am right now riding on a swing in the middle of someone's house.
You know what's weird is we all start with the same white box, but the people that have been to Art Walk before, it's like walking into 100 different brains that are just so different from each other. You can't believe we all started.
And you're like our 18th stop, so all these people have seen so many different. I mean, from Bruce Dean's like little homey little house to Oscar Sheldon's insane whatever it is to your like just art chromatic filled wonderscape. And the funny thing is yours in a way is similar to Burton Gray's we were just at, that they're both these brightly colored scapes, except you guys are so different. Like your spaces, everything about you is so different, but you're both. It's just fascinating to me
how did he tell you he was a painter and not a bad one?
Well, he was. Yeah, he used to be a pretty talented oil painter, and now he's a digital. But it's funny because you walk around, both you guys have these colorful scapes, but they're so different at the same time.
I know. Hey, Burton, how can you not paint anymore? I've asked him that a lot.
Oh, he's actually turning me to the dark side. So.
Well, he does them so much quicker than me. I wonder if that's his motivation.
He's turning me to the dark side. I'm starting to love his the digital thing. So, all right, I'm sorry. I'm getting tired of spray cans in my life. All right, Cinda, I am so happy to have been here again. We're going road tripping again soon.
Oh, anywhere.
Robo Lights, that's where we're at in Palm Springs.
And I'm up for anything surreal. So the
all
next
right.
weird ass thing you think
we are doing it. And you to Michael there, awesome. Thanks for being her great model and muse. And Danielle, wave goodbye. All right, you guys.
One of the most beautiful girls in the world. You guys.
Thank you. Let me reverse myself back out so you guys can get the whole view.
Thank you.
The whole.
You know, you're really good at walking backwards.
I know.
You actually, he didn't follow one.
That's from our graffiti tours. I've been walking backwards for years. Oh, you guys see the cool little 50s diner?
I guess he's just so used to it.
I have been doing walking backwards for decades.
You can walk and talk at the same time.
I can.
Who would think that'd be a marketable skill?
Yeah. Now I'm going to show you Cinda's pants and her important lesson here. The last thing I'm going to show you, if I can get my camera to turn around.
Yeah, I give lots of really good advice.
So don't sit down where your palette is. Make sure you look before you sit, or your pants might look like that. All right.
That's really true. It really happened.
And let's zoom in on her name.
Love you guys.
All right. See you later, Cinda.
Thank you for doing this. Bye, everybody.
Okay. All right, guys. Walking across the atrium. We're on our second to last visit here. So hopefully you guys are all enjoying this. Let's get our second to last one. We're going to skip to a new Wi-Fi. And then she's also showing the work of Raphael. So Raphael isn't here, but she's showing his work, and Stephanie is here. Let's knock on the door. Hey! All right, let's come on in and see this work.
So I took a everyone. Welcome.
Introduce yourself. Who are you?
My name is Stephanie Gosper. Yes, and I'm also showing work for Raphael Benoit
And since someone's going to inevitably ask the question, what's your accent?
in New Zealand.
Because someone will. And every, I think, tour, someone's asked the question. So, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we're doing rough.
Want to start with Raphael? Whatever you want to start.
Let's do Raphael first.
All right. It's your choice, not mine.
I'm sure you.
Should we show your cool shoes, by the way?
Oh. Aren't they great? I love the color of them.
The bright orange shoes to match the bright orange top. Loving it.
Did you homed in on that picture
Yes.
on the front, right?
Yes. So
this is him. This is a portrait of the artist as a young man. Let me turn a little more light up. It's always nice to see someone when they were in their prime, don't you think?
there we go.
It's always nice to see someone in their prime, don't you
Tell
think?
us about
Yeah.
Raphael.
So Raphael is the son of the acclaimed surrealist film director Luis Buñuel, who made a movie with a very avant-garde movie with Salvador Dali in 1929 called Un Chien Andalou. And any film student will know about Luis Buñuel. He made movies for about 4 decades, up until the 80s. And so this is his son, and we work together. We write screenplays together, and we collaborate on art. We're great friends. And so this is some of the lovely etchings and his sculptures. So yes, lovely sculptures. I really like his sculptures and etchings because he has a lovely sense of humor. And of course, you can see he really appreciates women and the female form. And his sculptures are made out of all different mediums like wood, plaster, alabaster, marble. These bronzes up here, lovely kiss, 2 versions of the kiss. I like this one because the woman's breasts are like stacked on a pile of bricks, I think. And here we have his animal sculptures. So this turtle I really love because it had, well, for one thing, it has 2 heads. This is a man's head, and that's a turtle head. And the tail moves, and it moves very beautifully. It took him 500 hours to make that one, and they're all very. I love this green snail. It's beautiful. Let's open up so you can see a little bit. Let's open it up really wide. Yes. Now, as we're going around the room, I might just mix us up because we're good friends. And
all right.
So here we have this cow is mine, my piece of work, and I bought it. I cut it up. And I love it because it reminds me of my roots. I grew up on a farm in New Zealand, and it's still there. It's still owned by the family, and it's now a dairy farm. So they have hundreds of these creatures. And of course, they're all chopped into things like sirloin, chuck, brisket, etc., etc. So that just reminds me of where I come from. I love living in Los Angeles, and I'm a real city person, I guess. But I love to remember my roots. Here's another of Raphael's drawings, and my friend Gilbert Ortiz took this photo, life imitating art, I like to call it. Of me on my swing here.
Yeah, remember Cinda had a swing? Well, she's not the only one with a swing in the brewery.
Also, I was going to say a little swing.
I'll say your swing is twice the size of Cinda's, so I
purposely made it to fit at least 2 people.
You've got bragging rights in that regard.
And it holds 1,000 pounds.
Cinda wouldn't get on her swing, so I had to get on it, and I was trying to video from it. I think I got some pretty good motion video on the swing.
That's nice. Here's some more of Raphael's delightful etchings. This one here is called as you can imagine, no see, no hear, no speak. Because his mouth is zipped shut, he's got curtains on his eyes, and he's got corks in his ears. Wonder what inspired that. Yes, so a few other lovely things. God created woman. That one's called The Pen is Mightier Than the Sword. What was that? Just sitting on a step, I think that's called. Now we have here. I decided to close my curtains just to make a slightly different ambiance this time.
So we don't look at the bomb squad?
Well, the view isn't the most beautiful, is it?
The view out our windows of the LA bomb squad building. So
Yeah, you can have a peek if you
you
want.
know, it's if there's ever a bomb left in the brewery, at least they'll be here quick. I hope. So.
Yeah. So we're climbing down a little bit. Now this is the brother of Raphael, and he's named after his father. His name is Jean Louis Buñuel, and any lover of James Joyce will recognize those. And yes, he also a very talented artist, incredible sculptor as well. He died only like a year and a half ago, so just recently. And they got on very well, the brothers. Yes. And above it is my cloud, and I use it as a speech. If I have a party, I can use it as a speech bubble. It's kind of fun to use as a speech bubble.
And let's see how you get out of bed in the morning.
And I slide out of bed every single morning.
Her bed is up there on the platform.
Literally, yes.
And she gets to slide out of bed every morning.
It's really fun.
See, we're artists. We can do whatever we want.
I know. It's so much fun seeing how everybody has a concrete box, right? And we've all done it.
We all get to do what we want with our concrete box.
Yeah. I really love this one. Underneath, this is Raphael's, of course, underneath the leaping shadow. Drawing, actually, that one is. Yeah. All the works are for sale. They range in price from 150 up to about 450. And then the sculptures are more, because they do take them a long time to do. So we've got the stairs and the wood ones. It's bronze. Elegant tall neck woman. I love this too. I think it's very elegant. They're all very elegant, aren't they? The long neck woman, humble woman. This one here is called Chakbul, and it is. This is a mini me. There's an 8 feet high one exactly the same, which I would love to have had in the studio. But
so there's the same piece, but 8 feet tall.
8 feet tall, yes, magnificent. Etchings. He's a very prolific artist. He's published 3 books of his etchings and drawings in Kings 2 and in Kings 3, and he's made nearly 200 sculptures. I have 30 of them here in the studio, and he's written 40 screenplays and plays, and he used to have a theater in New York, and that's where he screened the plays for about 3 or 4 years. I love these ones. This one's called Desert Dreams. Really nice. As you can see, he's used different effects. His etching with aqua tint. This is etching with aqua tint. And that concludes Raphael's work. Now we come into my area, and I do a few different things. I paint violins as well, and I really have fun with that. I sold the 2 that I painted, and I'm working on another one which is down there. We don't have to look at it because it's not finished yet. But right now I'm really loving working with trophies. It started because I found my husband's trophies that were in the trash. A lot of people sort of get tired of their trophies, and I thought I got them out of the trash, and I had them sitting for 2 years, and I finally decided to do something with them. And I don't have the one that I first made here, but I was really happy with it. And this one was inspired. So I get my trophies from all over the place, different places, and often look on Craigslist. People are sometimes just giving them away. And this tennis guy who happens to look exactly like this figure here, exactly, which is really interesting. His face, honestly, his whole figure, everything is the same. Anyway, he was giving away these ones. He said his wife can't stand them. So when I showed him what I did with them, he gave me his 4 favorite ones, which is this plate here, this glass loving cup and the champion on top, and he asked me to make whatever I could make with it. So this is what I came up with. Looks like it kind of reminds me of the thorny rose bush, thorny rose stem. That's how it came up. This one is called Dizzy Heights, and it's just a whole bunch of different figures. This is the third one I made. And it's so much fun working with them. This one here is called, Baseball Confection. This was the second one I made. And yeah, I made the lamp here, and I matched the fridge to it.
That's what happens to the McDonald's ball pits after your kids are done jumping them. They became Stephanie's fridge.
This is my what do we call this? It's triple layer cake. I call this. I really like it. I love the wheel of. So these were fittings I just found in the street. Bought them off a homeless guy, and for like $5. They were filthy. Cleaned them up thoroughly, washed them with a power hose, and found it. Turn around here. I want you to circle, because start here. You start here. But start here because the figures get smaller, like bigger and bigger as you go around. So you start right here.
Let's start with this guy.
It's called Evolution Chandelier. So the figures get bigger and bigger, and taller as you go around. And Kevin's going to get dizzy if he goes around too much. Yeah.
Test to learn with my gimbal. It keeps wanting to go straight again.
Let me show you. And so it dims. And yeah, I was so happy that the electrics still worked. I couldn't believe it after all that power washing that they worked. So it was great. And I've got one more surprise for you.
Oh, what's the LS?
I just did this today.
Uh-oh.
You want to see the crown jewels?
Oh, in the bathroom. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what that is. That's a giant trophy.
This is my man cave.
He's a bit eunuch.
Yeah.
But he's bejeweled.
He's bejeweled.
He makes up for
crown
it.
Jewels. It's
he
a crown.
makes up for it with his jewelry display.
You saw it here first. Speaking of man caves, this was kind of. I thought it'd be kind of cool, like any sports people, if they have a man cave and they've got trophies, maybe they'd want something like this.
What's your website called?
Oh yeah, so my website's called megatrophywife.com. That's my motorcycle piece. And my wheels of futility, as I call them. They go round and round. They don't work very well as they're supposed to be a wheel of fortune, doesn't really work as a wheel of fortune. That's why I call it a wheel of futility. They're all competing against each other. It's all the different sports and never getting anywhere.
Awesome.
So yeah, really fun to work with this stuff.
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you for bringing. Oh, we got more. We got one last.
Wait, there's more.
I almost thought we were done.
Yeah, wait more. So this is
yeah.
my website. I also wanted to mention this because my friend, so he's a mutual friend of mine and Raphael's. His name is Gilbert Ortiz. He's a lifelong photographer, and he did this fabulous photo of me and printed it and made it look better. I think it looked better.
You as the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job.
All right.
So yes, not better, but just as good.
All right, I'm gonna do one last look at the whole expansive loft.
So of course my website, Mega Trophy Wife, is all very tongue in cheek, of course. I just like having fun with it.
And you made your bed. That's awesome. A few artists did, some didn't. Some forgot. All right.
Yeah, maybe I should mention that as I was saying, when we come to live here, it's just a square box, and I needed storage, so this turned out really handy as storage. Added a lot of extra.
The curves make it really nice. The organic sort of.
Curves. As you can see, as much stuff is curved in here as possible. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us in here, Stephanie.
You're most welcome. It was really a pleasure.
I haven't seen you in like 2 years, so isolation.
You're as far away from me as you can get.
I know. We live 100 yards apart, but we don't see each other for a whole year. All right.
Thank you very much. All right, we're heading to the Magna next.
All right, let's zoom in on that. Zoom in on these so you guys can see these. And I said one stop earlier. We have two more stops. We have Magda, who's one of my favorite artists here at the brewery, and then we have a little performance at the end by one of our awesome photographers and his wife. They have a performance piece. So I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi. Circle back around so you guys can see back where we came from. And now enter this hallway. Now, I'd like to pause here briefly. We're going to get a Wi-Fi signal. But I want to show you guys a little of the cool stuff we got here. Not this white corner I'm showing you now. But I'm going to back up now. So these cool Art Deco doors we got here are actually the missing sound. How you guys doing on sound? You hearing me again? Our Wi-Fi signal's not bad. Okay, you guys back. All right, we've got these cool Art Deco chandeliers, marble floors, these big columns. This was all put in by Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery when they took over in 1946. We got this entire marble staircase that goes up 3 flights here. So that went up to the old offices. Actually, when we were at Dave Leffner in Sheldon's place, that was up the marble staircase. We went a different route, but so it's beautiful marble. And now we're going to go in and see Magda, who was nice enough to make her door look the same as the marble in her hallway. Oh, and there's our beautiful cat for this place. Super friendly.
Julio should be fine.
All right.
Welcome, welcome. There's Julio Granting again.
All right. So tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Magda Alfred, and I've been working and living at the brewery for, I don't know, probably about 16 years or so. When I moved to this place, it was a photo lab, so I did have to do some changes and a lot of light and so forth. I work basically on three main techniques, which is painting, printmaking, and ceramics. What I'm doing with ceramics right now, the way I see it, is like an extension of my paintings. It's like an extension of the designs that I use. And but come on in, let me show you. This is my friend Isley, who kindly come over to help me out with artwork.
And we'll show your
today was not an exception. So
your frame making area here.
Yeah, we do framing as well. For other artists, several people right here at the brewery. And
pretty much most of the brewery who needs a frame comes to Magda because she can do much better framing than any of us can do on our own.
Thank you.
So we're not going to do it ourselves. We go to Magda.
No, and it's great for me. It's been because I like to work on paper. Usually you have to frame the works on paper, and to me it's been a great opportunity to do my own framing because I can do it pretty fast, and also I can afford to have exhibitions in other places, and that's really saved me a lot of money on that sense. Some of the work on especially the larger pieces, I'm still working in this piece, for example. So I put them on the wall anyway to dry. And every time that I go by, I keep thinking, oh, I have to do this color or that color and so forth. I use acrylic paint, but also like to use the water-based screen printing inks because the viscosity is very different. And then I can apply the color like really watery. It gives me a lot of transparencies and it still allows me to see the colors that I apply first. So that gives me a lot of layers and layers and layers. And I use sometimes more pigment on the inks to make it even stronger. And sometimes they have like kind of like that chalk finish, like pastel, but it's actually paint. Yeah, it's actually paint. So that's from my Bulls Zone 5 series, and I like to experiment, with shapes and
dissecting the spaces and playing with the backgrounds, light colors, dark colors against. So that gives me the chance. For me, to me, sectioning the work, my designs, it gives me an excuse to actually work with a lot of colors later on, something that I like. Um, in this part right here, we have some etchings. On the right, that's an etching. The piece in the middle is a lino coat and a monotype on the left. These three pieces are made actually with metal plates and the linoleum, of course, the one in the middle. And later on, I print them, ink the plate, print them, and pass it to the press. Sometimes even this is a whole piece right here, but later on when I'm printing, I found that there's some beautiful areas that work totally fine by itself. So then I just make a different edition. I use this one, for example. I make like how many 15 pieces of this, 15 prints of that one. But then later on I did some sections also, and I create some like smaller works also with a lot of textures. That's something that I like to experiment. I don't usually throw any paper away. I can reuse it or use more gesso on top of it and then just use a different technique on that. And this room right here, this is the main room. This is what I have the press, my working tables. I do the printmaking in this area, and I do my ceramic work on the other side. Um, Most of my designs start like just with a very small drawing. For example, let me show you here. These are just some images that I was doing for some sketches that I was doing for ceramic pieces, ceramics. Many of these that they're being sold. Um, this is part of the heart series that I was making, and sometimes I can just the idea come up like unexpectedly, and I just like drawing and stuff like that. This piece, for example, uh, is actually this one here. So everything that starts in such a small little drawing, later on it turned into like a 3D work or a painting. For example, let's see, there's another it's hard series. This one, for example, was the idea for a painting, and eventually that was 36 by 48 size. Um, but what I found also on my work is that I can kind of like section and divide it into 2 or 3 pieces, and I start to making my diptychs, something that I really like also because it's a continuation of the work. That's something a little bit what I'm doing with the ceramics right now. I come up with the idea, for example, and then I divide this one in 3. So this one comes one of my 3-dimensional pieces, and there is a continuity. So you can go on and on and on and on without losing the design. This piece is already drying. I have 3 pieces, actually new pieces that are drying at this point, and they haven't been fired. I'm going to wait another couple of weeks until dry completely so they won't explode on the kiln. But this is part of the work now. The clay I'm using is called Cafe Cinco, and it's beautiful because it gives me like this kind of sand color, and if you touch it, also feels like sand, which is really really nice. And I respect the design, the first design actually, and I put some accents of color like here and there, but I like to keep it like this and pretty much in the natural state of the clay when it's fired. This is also a piece that I was thinking I was drawing here, and I did a variation of this one here. Let me see. Yeah, it was a little bit like this. This is the kind of idea that I want to do some layers, like different levels and stuff like that. So this is the what I came up with. And again, I didn't want to overdo the design and the clay, the beautiful texture of the clay itself. And I just put like some accents in some areas, and I like it. Those are drying right there also. Those two pieces are some of the new ones as well. Yeah, so that's how it works. Let me see what else I can show you. This is actually one of the lino plates. This is one of the later ones, later works. That one, the Bulls Don't Fight series also. That's also one of the new pieces. And this is how I organize my inks. Have the inks over there in the bottom, the water-based scripting techniques that I mentioned already with my mixed colors. And I'm working just with acrylic. just because I cannot use oils in this space. Again, I don't have like a huge ventilation, so I don't want to get sick or anything. But yeah, this is basically my work, and I really like it. I like living right here at the brewery. I cannot have a living area somewhere else and a studio somewhere else. It doesn't work for me. I really need to be having everything on the same space. And I try to design it in such a way that if I'm in my kitchen, for example, if I'm cooking or doing, I feel like I'm in my dining room right there. I separate this, with a moving wall also. So it gives me the sense of organization. The studio doesn't look like this all the time. Of course, one of the things for Artwalk is that we force ourselves to clean it and keep it like really cool. Uh, but it's just part of it. It gets a little messy when you're working and here and there. But that's inevitable. But yeah. So
Awesome.
this is it. Yes.
That was awesome, Magda. Thank you for showing us all your awesome different art.
You're welcome.
If anyone has any questions, you can ask them right now, or you can, of course, contact the artist directly. We've already given you guys the links.
Yeah, absolutely. And also for all the people that I met through Artwalk, I send you a big hug and a handshake. Looking forward to see you again, hopefully very soon. And and the ones we haven't met yet, I hope you have the opportunity at some point to come over and actually get a chance to meet. And
We'll have it again soon.
yes.
All right. Thanks so much, Magda.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Let me walk on out of here. Show you her framing area again.
Thank you.
Show her two helpers here. All right. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll zoom in on one, and then we'll zoom in on the other.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you again. I'll see you later, Magda.
See you later. Bye-bye.
All right. All right, folks. We got one last stop. They need a few more minutes.
20 minutes.
They need 20. We can't. It's supposed to be ended at 6. Hold on one second. Hey, sorry guys, she just took her door sign down, so I can't show it to you again. Someone asked what her last name is. Last name is Magda, Audifred, Oddfred. Again, go to our website though. You can find them all there. All the names, all the information is there on our website. All right, we're stepping back outside here. Here, show you our lovely sky today. As we walk, because the next place is actually a pretty far walk, so it's going to be a little bit of a walk to it. But I'll show you the exterior. So there is the building we were at. There's Stephanie's place right there. We were just at her place. Turning back around here. Now this huge, awesome Art Deco facade was put in by the Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewing Company when they took it over in 1946. By then, it had pretty much run down from when it was originally built in the late 1800s. So they came in and they rebuilt the whole facade and rebuilt this whole building here with this Art Deco style in 1946. Now let's see if we can see it. I'm going to zoom in. If you look really carefully up there, they sandblast away, but you can still barely see where it says Pabst up there at the very top. Not very visible much anymore. There's a few other spots like that, various buildings where you still have a little touch of it. You got that Monet sky, I think, is going to happen in about 10 minutes here tonight. We're going to have a little vanilla sky, actually.
Sorry, that little diamond sign.
Oh, yeah. I did not ever tell you guys the diamond signs. So, the brewery, how it came to exist, I already told you. The Carlsons bought it, decided to start renting it, and then artists just started moving in. What made that legal, because these spaces are definitely not zoned for residency, they're definitely not zoned to be lived in. In 1984, soon after they started letting artists come here, the city of LA passed something called the Artists in Residency Act. And this was in reaction also to the brewery, but also down in the Arts District and other areas of downtown. There's all these artists just moving into these old warehouses. And now that's not legal to do, technically, to live in these spaces. But the city didn't want to kick all their artists out, but at the same time, they need to figure out a way to make it work. So they passed the Artists in Residence Act. And when you see these placards around, the funny thing is you don't see as many downtown anymore. They used to be all over downtown, but now that downtown was booming, all these developers moved in, kicked out all the artists, and turned everything into artist lofts. But you won't see those placards anymore because they're not actually zoned for artists anymore. When you see that placard, the person living there actually has to devote 70% of their space to workspace, 30% to living. So it has to be technically legally a live work space. It can't just be your big giant loft that you hang out in. So legally, that's how it works. Artists in Residency Act. Now you see these placards on like gas stations and chemical plants, and the different colors basically indicate what is the dangerous items in the warehouse. Well, here at the Brewery Art Colony, the A stands for artists, or in any place with artists, because the only dangerous thing we got is artists, which is pretty dangerous. And we can see if you can see the giant carousel horse too. I don't know how well you can see it with the sun setting like this. I'll zoom in a bit. That is this weird giant carousel horse. Now, I told you the owners, Carlson Industries, they are in the business of taking old factories and places and refurbishing them, or taking out all equipment, and they just come across weird stuff. So a lot of that weird stuff actually ends up here at the brewery. They'll just acquire a giant carousel horse, and next thing you know, it's stuck up here at the brewery. So I'm going to spin us around on the main street. We're walking out on the main street now because our next place is down here down the street. Across the street from us is the LA Bomb Squad headquarters. So if you guys are planning on blowing up LA, these are the guys that are going to try to stop you. I fear they put it across the brewery because we always blow things up accidentally here, so might as well have them close. I'm walking down Main Street now, past the giant Pabst building. This is the walking part of the tour. And after 2 days and 12 hours of these tours, my dogs are barking a little, but I'm still on my feet. I'm gonna flip it around and give a little more talking. I just want to see if I can do this here. See technology at work. All right, guys, it's me again. So again, the Brewery Art Colony is the world's largest art colony. 500 or so artists live. 550 artists live and work here. We do these tours for this Corona thing, but when that's over, we actually do tours. LA Art Tours does tours of the Brewery Art Colony. We've been doing these tours now for over 10 years now, the Brewery Art Colony. I think 13 years of the Brewery Art Colony. So it's basically a live in-person tour like you just took. It's a little shorter, about 2 hours. But you actually get to hang out with the artists, meet them, talk to them. They're really awesome tours. And then when the Brewery Artwalk is back, I recommend that, of course. Then you get to go hang out with 10, 15, 20,000 other Los Angeles residents and just wander around at your own pace to every different loft. An average art walk will have 75 to 100 different artist lofts open. So we did 45 this time between the two different tours we had running. You would have 75 to 100 throughout the whole complex to watch. It's a crazy, all-encompassing experience. Trust me, it's pretty epic. And also right now, just a little plug here for LA Art Tours. We are doing virtual versions of our world famous graffiti tour. A lot of people know about our graffiti tour. It's actually in the book 50 Things to Do in Los Angeles Before You Die. It's got national press as or global press as one of the best walking tours in the world. So if you guys want something fun to do, we do a live virtual version for those of you guys that are a long way right now. You can find that on the LA Art Tours website. But we also have started just recently doing our in-person tours again. We passed all the county guidelines to be legally open again. They're socially distanced. We ask everyone wears a mask, but we walk you around with real graffiti artists. It's not like there's other sort of tours like this, and it's like, oh, it's a docent walking around. Oh, it's some person that read about graffiti on Wikipedia. Our guides are all graffiti artists. These are guys who, some of them, Shandu, one of our tour guides, he has been doing graffiti for 40 years now. He used to climb down the Belmont Tunnel when he was like 14 making graffiti, and now he's almost 60 and he's still out there making graffiti. Every once in a while I'll see one of his tags and I'll be like, hey, don't tag our route there, Shandu. But so I recommend highly, if you got some time, come join LA Art Tours on one of our things. Again, laarttours.com. I'm going to spin around here. I think our next guys are about ready here. Like I said, I had to go for a walk. I'm going to really quickly show you out the street. So I'm going to reverse this back around here. Sorry. Technology. All right. So here's our street view. This is Moulton Avenue. This is actually another building of the brewery this is the most newest building. Was a government building that they just bought. And here's this beautiful sunset view. We're going to try not to get run over. Of the buildings we've been walking through. So these are some of the buildings. You can't even see the smokestack building from there. And then the brewery extends all the way down to the very end of the street there. That is all still the brewery. 17 acres, 550 artists. All right. Whew. Now we're walking the last stop. Now our last stop is a performance art, and we are running slightly ahead of schedule, so they had to prep themselves up and get themselves ready because we got ahead of schedule. I'm going to pull up here. This next place is called the Artery. And the Artery, it does a little bit of performance. They do photography. They do all kinds of artist enabling. We good? All right, the Artery. There's that is. How much time is it? Okay. Oh, sorry, folks. We need 2 more minutes. There, like I said, actually, while they're writing their performance, I'm going to walk you around their gallery, and I'm going to get the Wi-Fi on. Let's get this Wi-Fi working. Let's see if we got the Wi-Fi up. Question from Jan. Is the Artery where people have musical instruments? No, that's actually the Musicians Loft in the 1984 building. The Musicians Loft is the only space in the brewery that you can actually have music, live music, and musicians. All the other buildings are restricted just to fine art or other sorts of art. The Musicians Loft in the 1984 building, because it's so high up and far away from everything else, they do allow music there. The Artery is a creative photography space, and this is some of the work of Steve, the main photographer here. And again, if you guys have questions about the brewery history, you can always ask those on here too. All right, and here's Steve.
Oh, it's on right now.
Yes, no, we've been taping this whole time. I just showed him around your gallery space. Right, hey, we can't cut the feed. These people are in here live. You have 100 people watching you live right now. So.
Oh, yay, cool.
So
well,
tell quick about yourself, and then we'll go and see the performance.
My name is Steve Lucero. I'm a photographer, LA native. This is the Artery. It's a production facilitation studio for any type of artist. We host productions. We host production culture. This is a gallery space that we have here, that we front at. This is typically where we show our work. In this case, this is my work. If you look here, this
Yeah, I actually gave him a good close-up on your stuff already.
Oh, nice. You did. Perfect.
I had a few minutes to kill, so we're ready for the performance.
I'm going to skip this part. I'm going to talk about
I did it for you.
Doing fun stuff. Awesome.
All right.
In this case, I'll talk a little less. You can watch us do our thing, but I have it here tethered, so you can actually see the exact stuff that's going on. But please just watch.
Froze up.
Oh, okay. You can walk to the back, go for it.
You got me in the pictures, huh? I'm not supposed to be photographed. It only. Oh, what's up, kid? The flash. Zoom missing things. Sometimes when there's lots of things, information to. All right, we're gonna back to the back. We'll zoom one more time on here, see if it catches. Yeah, I think the flash probably makes it freeze. Oh, we get to see me now. Look at me. That's so meta. It's so meta. All right, Steve, you want to come out here and say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, right on.
Since you're our last stop on today's tour.
It was really beautiful seeing all of your spaces and your faces.
All right. Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us join you here at the Artery. And again, all his information and all the cast we just saw, that stuff. That's all up on our website. Go again to the Brewery Artwalk art website.
Yeah, that one works.
And also, again, you can also go to the LA Art Tours website if you want to find out some more of our tours and our graffiti tours and all those sort of things. But in the meantime, Steve, thanks for having us again.
ArteryLA.com, thank you.
We are heading back out into the world to that beautiful skyscape. I'm going to come get you guys one last look of our beautiful skies. Let's see if we can get that. Oh, we're getting another lovely sunset here in LA. All right, folks. On behalf of the Brewery Artwalk and LA Art Tours, it's amazing having you guys. We've got, over the course of the weekend, we had hundreds and hundreds of people on these tours. It was awesome. Thanks so much again, folks. You have a great rest of your weekend, all right? Bye-bye.